Hey, are you ever going to start this podcast you've been talking about for like forever?
Do you think that anyone will actually want to listen to something like this?
What is your plan for an introduction?
Are you sure you want to talk about these topics? People usually disagree.
3 hours? Are you crazy?
Do you think you're some kind of expert or something?
Are you planning to have an intro song?
What if a bunch of people get really mad and hate you over this?
Do you even know how to make a podcast?
Are you just doing this because you like to argue with people?
Don't let this be just one more thing that you talk about doing, but never actually do.
Wouldn't it be better to do just one episode for each topic?
Stop trying to change people's opinions. Just live your own life.
Dude, people are never gonna agree. Just let it go.
Is this going to be a long intro? Because if it is, I'm bored already.
You're listening to the newest episode of the Why Can't We Talk About That podcast. If you meant to click something else, then get out while you still can. If you remain, you might hear opinions that differ from yours. You might even learn something new. Don't say I didn't warn you. I have a great episode for you today, but first, something came to my attention that I just can't wrap my mind around. We have a word called group. It's used to denote more than one or two items, like a group of teenagers. When you start discussing the animal kingdom, however, someone felt the need to pick a different word for each group of animals. Why not just use the word group for all of them? Your guess is as good as mine. Some of these we're pretty familiar with, like a gaggle of geese, a school of fish, a pack of wolves, or a pride of lions. But there are bazillions more, and some of them are pretty stinking funny. Here are just a few. Almost all of them, in my opinion, are pretty strange, although some of them are just plain lazy. We have a shrewdness of apes, a gang of buffalo, and a wake of buzzards. How about a mischief of mice, a pandemonium of parrots, or a convocation of eagles? A crash of rhinos, fever of stingrays, and a wedge of swans. I promise I'm not making these up. It's real. Look it up. There's also a business of ferrets, an ambush of tigers, or a conspiracy of lemurs. And that's just the normal ones, using that term loosely, of course. Here are some that I would consider a little lazy, mainly just because it seems to be a word that describes what the animal does, like a bask of crocodiles, a cackle of hyenas, a leap of leopards, tower of giraffes, a stand of flamingos, a prickle of porcupines, and a stench of skunks. Yeah, seriously, a stench. And there's even a bloat of hippos. Talk about fat shaming. And some are just plain cool, like a quiver of cobras, an army of frogs, a shadow of jaguars, a shiver of sharks, or a smack of jellyfish. You would think that I made those up because they are so cool, but I can assure you that I didn't. There's also a sloth of bears, but not a sloth of sloth. Figure that one out. But it seems like the birds get the worst of it, with a murder of crows and an unkindness of ravens. Okay, almost done, I promise. How about this? Bats, if they are stationary, are called a colony of bats, but if they are in flight, they are called a cloud of bats. But at the same time, camels are a caravan of camels. But what if we apply the logic of the bat thing? What if the camels are not in a line? Are they something other than a caravan? So there you go. I am sure you feel enlightened after that little lesson in animal groups. So now you can share all this newfound knowledge with the rest of your friends and family and sound really smart. You're welcome. My guest this week is Jimmy Westerfield, one of my longest friends, considering that I've known him since kindergarten. The guy is hilarious, but also one of the smartest people that I know, even though he keeps insisting that he's not very smart. Jimmy has no filter. He openly speaks his thoughts and beliefs, something that I really appreciate, and also something that makes this episode equally hilarious and thought-provoking. This episode was a lot of fun to record. We spent a little time going down memory lane and remembering some of the funny things that we did during my childhood. And by the way, I did look up that corn song from South Park. It's called Falling Away From Me, just in case you'll be wondering. Topics discussed today include the carnivore diet, marriage and children, Van Morrison, Billy Idol, Rocky IV, Hamilton, Orgasmic Waffles, stand-up comedy, Marvin Gaye, MC Ren, High C, DJ Quik, Vanilla Ice, Afro, Citizen Cope, Amos Lee, Sublime, Brotha Lynch, NF, Post Malone, Jelly Roll, George Strait, Rage Against the Machine, Assisting Other Countries, homelessness, mental health, bacteria, the forbidden Twinkie, RFK, gun control, caving to the mob, the border movie, border control, getting rid of the rest of the letters, COVID, masking, artificial intelligence, the public school system, God not needing a Barcalounger, free will, the gospel, aliens, Jeffrey Epstein, Ukraine, Israel, mushrooms, and mass hallucination. Enjoy the conversation. But in front of my house isn't the place, right? That's not my problem.
Where is it? And when you build these places, they should have to account for the amount of people that you're going to allow to live in there and have that parking.
Right.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just get to build this tiny, you got one parking spot per apartment, and that's going to fly. Yeah, and you can just build that. You get the permits to build that, and it's okay. It seems ridiculous.
And it seems like they're building more and more of those kind of places all over the place.
Well, now you have... The ADU laws are all easier now, so you have nice neighborhoods, you know, that are like your own, that have a house in the back now, or a little apartment built in the yard, and they got 3 or 4 more people living in there, all have cars. It's crazy. I used to look at a neighborhood when we went to Phoenix and moved out there. I was looking at
that's right.
Yeah, and I would look at the neighborhood, and I would look at on the weekend. I'd go on the weekends, I'd go at night, and I'd see how many cars are parked out here. I'm not moving there. I'm not moving there. That's not
okay. That was your gauge.
That was one of the gauges. It's like, no, I want some elbow room, you know?
Right.
And we ended up finding a place on the outskirts. But
and you guys liked it out there, right?
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah, all things equal, I'd be there now.
Okay. It's just because your job brought you here, right?
Yeah, my job brought me here.
Okay. And you're still the same with the same, right?
Yeah, same company, 22 years now.
Dang, man.
I know.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's really cool.
It's pretty cool. They've treated me pretty well, too.
Okay.
Like, all joking aside, it's been a good...
Yeah.
It's been a good partnership with them.
You're like one of the head honchos over there now, right?
Well, so I manage the other store, and my store here is kind of a weird role. But yeah, I'm a different value there than typically in my position. So I get compensated accordingly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
That's so cool.
I love it.
And does Emmy work also?
Yeah, she's been doing pouring beer. She's been pouring beer at a couple of different places. In town. She's
like as a bartender, you mean? Or
Yeah, but just beer. So not like mixed drinks or anything. Okay. She doesn't do any of that stuff because she's.
You have to have a certain license to do mixed drinks or something. Or?
I don't know. Maybe do. I'm not really too hip on all that. But
yeah, I've never heard that before.
It's not that she can only pour the beer. It's that where she's working. Like she worked at a brewery, that Liquid Gravity, and didn't work it. And then she works
places that just don't really have mixed drinks. What, Blast or
whatever it is that Blast owns them.
Oh, really? Oh, Figaro Mountain?
Yeah, whatever. Where Fig was, yeah.
Oh, okay. Exactly. It's Me and Ed's.
Yeah, Me and Ed's.
Yeah. Which is what it started as.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then Fig bought it out, and then Fig extended too far, and
Fig's like, I'm out.
It back, So.
And now they're just back to serving crappy pizza like they were to begin with.
That's funny. See, I like the original pizza better than the Fig pizza, and there was a lot of conversation on which was better.
I don't like any of them. I've never liked that place from day one. Yeah. They did a pretty decent calzone.
Yeah, my brother would want to punch your face right.
Oh, really? That's his favorite?
Yeah, he loves Me and Ed's. But yeah,
which one?
Everybody's different. That's fascinating.
Your brother Nate?
David. Nathan's my brother. Okay. David's the youngest brother, so he came after Nathan.
Yeah, see, I remember, I don't think I ever met him.
Mostly, they grew up in Atascadero, or most of their young adulthood. I was gone by that time.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, we were all adults, I think, by the time.
Yeah, or close to it. I was up in, in Santa Cruz at that time, I think.
Because I think, weren't we in high school when? No, I think we remember junior high when Nate was born.
91.
Okay.
91 he was born, I think. 91, and David was 94.
Yeah.
94.
Because I remember that was when your mom lived at Quail Meadows. Yep. And we'd hang out over there.
Sabin.
Yeah. And we'd hang out over there and play Mario Kart, like the original on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then we'd go play dunk ball at Pacific Christian.
Yes.
Remember those days?
Yes, I do, man.
That was so fun.
I lived at that.
That was there.
It was right across the street. So I was there every single night.
Right.
For a period of time there with Sabin.
Okay.
We would go there and conversate and
it's funny because I didn't know Saban until after. I mean, I knew who he was in high school. Obviously, everybody knew who Saban was in high school, and he knew who I was. But it wasn't like we really ever hung out or anything. We had some mutual friends, but it wasn't until like probably what 10 years ago now, maybe not that long. where I started another friend, Ryan Castle. Remember Ryan Castle?
Yeah, I remember that.
So he invited me to a Bible study that Saban was having out of his tattoo shop.
Oh, yeah.
So then I went to that, and he's like, "Hey!" So I kind of got to. And then we started.
Is he still doing that? I remember seeing like the Instagram,
the Bible studies or the
studies out of the.
I'm not sure actually.
That was like in the COVID days, right? Like
and before. Yeah, for sure. When I went, it was before that.
Okay.
That was when he was still in the other place on. What would that be, Main Street, I guess? Mm-hmm. Before he moved to Broadway, which is kind of just like right around the corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on Main Street. I think it was called Upper Room at that point. What's it called now?
I enjoyed that
Captive
podcast
Hearts
with you guys. A
lot of people like that one. That was good.
I listened to a few of them. I liked a few of them, and that's pretty good. I was impressed, man. I went back and watched listened to the first one you did, and I thought, there's going to be some stuff to iron out, and it's going to be pretty bad, and it was really good. I thought, I was just really impressed.
Yeah,
you did a good job.
That one, I kind of regret putting that one first.
Okay,
only because me and him are like we work together, and we're always joking with each other like that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't want people to think like we're being so serious because because we say things to each other. Like one of the first things I say to him is, "How does it feel to be the first openly homosexual I've had on the podcast?"
Yeah, right.
And he's just like, "Wait, what?" I said, "Just kidding. You're not the first." At least openly. You're not you're the first open one.
It didn't turn me off of the show. I kept
cool. And that's what people keep telling me. They're like, "No, it was great. It was great." But I think after that, maybe we got a little more. I mean, I guess it depends on the guest, Some of them are funny, some of them are serious.
For me personally, man, it's just I'm looking for genuine stuff that I'm going to put in my ear. I like to hear people that are real.
Yeah.
And,
that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
It's a beautiful thing. Podcasting, I think, is one of the most important innovations in modern history. Like it's really important.
I know, but think about like 20 years ago, if somebody would have said to you, "Hey man, in like 20 years, the vast majority of the population is going to be listening to other people talk to each other."
I know.
Or just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? There's a video, watch a video, you mean watch a movie? No, it's just listening to people talk.
Yeah.
Just audio. Like, what are we going back to the like days of radio shows and like this whole thing where you listen to like a dramatization of something on the radio before there was movies? It's like, what?
Nobody's going to do this. This will never take place.
Right. And then here you are, and like everybody and their mom has a podcast now, So
can't imagine trying to sell that idea back then.
Right.
It's just not going to work.
right.
But who would have thought people would be tuning in all this so-called reality TV?
Exactly.
Right? Who wants to just watch? Of course they doctor up the actual happenings.
Well, you say so-called as if it's not real. What are you trying to say here,
it's
man?
It's real bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's so terrible.
But that's what happened with the podcasting, I think, is that you had you remember, or if you're a fan of anybody these days and you hear them in long form on a podcast,
right,
you get such incredible insights into who that person is,
right,
that we never had growing up. I'm watching whoever, Hulk Hogan or something. I just know the character and I have no idea who this person is.
Right.
And now you get 3, 4, 5 hours of uninterrupted conversation with that person, where that conversation can go anywhere into any topics. And you just get this really cool look into.
Sometimes you're like, oh man, that guy's an idiot.
It can be disappointing. It can be disappointing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Oh, okay. All right, man. Well, I mean, we kind of touched a little bit on some stuff, but just like how's it, like, what's life like these days for you? You got a couple kids now. You've been married for quite a while.
Yeah, we're on the tail end of that. Real active parenting. Like I got a 17-year-old son and 18-year-old daughter. She's turned 18 yesterday.
Your youngest is 17?
17.
Oh, wow, dude.
Yeah, and then 21. My daughter's Adela, 21. So
and she's the singer.
Yeah, she's singer, and she's at Hancock, so she's an actress and a singer. She's plays over there. She has one coming up, Wolf at the Door, that she's going to be having a featured role in.
Oh, wow.
The main characters.
And is it musical theater or just
exciting? They've done some musicals. This one's not a musical. But they just did Elf. And, that was a lot of fun.
Wasn't that PCPA?
Yeah, PCPA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where she's at. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she's second year in that program.
Okay.
And she's done a few. She got on. She did a couple of shows as an understudy for American Mariachi. Which is really fun. A really fun show.
That's a show. Like
yeah, it's a show.
It's not related to El Mariachi.
It's just about some women. Women I don't remember the time period now, maybe in the 80s or something.
Okay.
And they were these little girls that were wanting to start a mariachi for certain reasons.
Okay.
It was really good. It was a cute show.
Okay.
Really, really emotional. Surprisingly.
Oh,
emotional.
really? Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I don't want to say I cried.
It's okay, man. We can be real here.
That's a weird thing, man. When you get daughters.
Oh yeah.
It's a weird.
Oh, the
thing.
whole world changes, man. It's all over.
I quit listening to country as soon as I had daughters because all those daughter-dad songs. Like,
yeah. I have a whole list of songs that I have on certain playlists that and Bethany would know that you can't listen to this while you're driving songs because there's just trying to drive with blurred vision isn't exactly the smartest way to go. But but those are always the ones that get me too, like the ones that talk about your kids growing up and especially with daughters. But there's even a few that deal with sons and like. Yeah, it's emotional. It's like, oh, I can't listen to that one right now. But then there's times where I'm like, I just want to be sad today. I'm going to put that on, just not while I'm driving. Yeah, exactly. So that's your oldest, and then you have a 19-year-old daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
18. She turned
18-year-old daughter.
18 yesterday. Yeah,
oh, yesterday. Nice. Yeah. So for her birthday, you decided to come over to my house.
That's it, man. she's actually really excited for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She nice.
Likes the idea of it. So
okay.
She should be listening. But,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so she was excited. We didn't do too much for her.
Okay.
Her 18th went out in 8. And
where'd you guys go?
Did some stuff around the house. Oh, we went to go to the steakhouse and
here.
Yeah.
Oh, Cool Hand Luke's.
Yeah, but it was too long a wait. So we had to go to Applebee's, which was definitely a fall from our first option. Right?
Yeah. Applebee's
wonderful service, Nikayla. Thank you.
Yeah,
but
because I'm sure she'll listen to this. Yeah, but they got that all-you-can-eat wings now, man. That's not a bad little deal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the carnivore diet, so I have.
Okay.
I'm pretty limited.
So that's the actual carnivore. Because I remember one of the first times we met for lunch, after we hadn't really hung out in years.
Yeah.
You were on the paleo.
Yeah, I did that for a while.
And I remember I had no idea what that was until you told me, like, hey, let's go to this place because they can do paleo. I was like,
I know, I'm always on something.
I'm like, now I'm kind of scared to do that. I don't know, what is this? What are they going to do to me when I get there, So now you're doing the carnivore thing, which is like the Jordan Peterson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just all meat. Like he does extremely strict meat and salt. And
right.
That's what I did last year in January. I've done most of this January. I'm going to be introducing fruits and other things back into it.
Okay, so it's like a steps kind of thing. You get to a certain point.
Really, I just use it as a tool to lose weight real quick and then kind of get back to a good baseline. Okay. Because I tend to be pretty bad with moderation.
Yeah.
I'm pretty awful.
Amen, brother.
So I go from I abstain completely to gorging myself.
Right. Right.
Like last year I was super disciplined until probably rodeo, so around June, and then I kind of had a decent 2 or 3 months, and then the last 3 months of the year I was just balls to the wall, eating everything, drinking, just doing a lot of things in excess. So now I'm back to January, cleaning it up, right? Like
clean slate.
It's the struggle.
Yeah,
if you resist a little bit, it keeps you okay. I would be 400 pounds if I didn't abstain from things when I had a chance to.
Yeah, exactly. So that carnivore, that's like the anti-vegetarian diet. It's like the opposite of vegetarian.
Yeah. Okay. It's like, I call it the vegan for men.
Right. Because the other vegans obviously have lost their man card a long time ago.
They did. In my eyes, it might have one. It's just like a black market one they got on eBay or something.
Well, even when I was vegetarian for like 15 years, I never went vegan. Just because, even though part of me, because back then I was like an activist, but I mean, I kind of believed in it in a sense, but I was like, giving up cheese? Ooh, I don't know. No pizza? Because I mean, right now with no meat, at least I can have like a veggie pizza or something, but no cheese? I don't know about that one. No ice cream?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's pretty hard. I mean, now they're you can pretty much have just about anything, right, with that vegan idea. I don't think it's the healthiest.
No, but the vegan, they still haven't really perfected the vegan cheese.
Yeah.
Some of the meat product, when I was vegetarian, and Bethany's still a vegetarian, actually, so she'll get a lot of the meat.
Yeah.
what do you call them, like fake meat
Impossible.
stuff. Yeah, Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger. Yeah. There's even a company that makes like a chicken that's not chicken. That's pretty good. I mean, they've kind of gotten pretty good at that.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't say I've never had any of
Yeah, well, why would you? You ain't got no reason to. Okay, so we're back to the kids. So you got the older, and then you have it just turned 18, and then your son is 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's senior now, or a junior now. He'll be a senior next year.
Okay.
So we get just 2 more years in high school.
Almost done, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. See, our youngest is 13, so we got a little bit longer. Right. So we're counting down the days, though. You know.
Yeah. The check marks on the wall.
And then they'll be gone, and they'll be like,
I know.
What are we gonna do with our lives?
Yeah, it is weird to think about.
Yeah,
it really is. I don't really know. Like, I don't really know who I am outside of a father anymore.
Yeah,
and a husband. I'll keep being that, I assume.
We would hope so.
But and even her and I, just the last couple of years, we started going out and and going to shows.
Oh, nice,
nice. And just getting out of the house together. Yeah, because we're just. I don't think we had a babysitter until the kids were like 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah, it's hard.
So her mom watched the kids a couple of times, and I had a coworker watch them for a couple of hours.
Right. That's all you get. You know?
So we were pretty tied up in that for a while. So we had to kind of,
So dude, and so the whole thing with Emmy is like, I don't even know if you remember this, but it was the funniest thing ever, because obviously we grew up together. I remember you used to live behind me.
Yeah, hop the fence.
Hop the fence. We'd hang out. I mean, elementary school is like my earliest memories of us hanging out. But
I think, did you go to Nightingale in kindergarten?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were one of my first friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kindergarten through 6th, Nightingale, then Lakeview, and then Rigetti, which you were at for a little while, and then you decided you didn't like school anymore. You're like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, didn't excel there.
Yeah, well, I didn't either, but I didn't have a choice.
I gotcha.
But back in school, I remember you were always the guy that I had lots of friends who were girls would be like, oh, Jimmy's really cute, but he just doesn't talk. He's real mellow. I'm like, he talks all day. What are you talking about? Yeah. But like, you were kind of shy around girls.
Definitely.
And then there was Emmy, who, to my knowledge, I don't remember her ever really having a boyfriend, but like all the guys really liked her, right? Oh, Emmy's really cute and all this. So then I don't talk to you for years. And then we're driving down Bradley over here, and you're like, doing like you do. You're like, I think you're pulling up next to me, you're honking your horn. I'm going, who is this psychopath? What is this guy's problem? I look over and you're like,
don't look at the psycho.
And I'm like, oh, it's you. So then we pull over, get on the side of the road, we're talking, we're catching up. Yeah. And you're like, hey, man, you remember Emmy? I go, yeah. He goes, and you go, she's having my kid. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? What? So it was just like, just awesome. And you guys are still together, which is awesome.
Sides. Yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah, it's been great. She's incredible, patient. Okay. I mean, like any woman that would be with me for 20 plus years is a borderline saint, I would say.
But it sounds like you guys fit. Like you're like two puzzle pieces that perfectly accentuate each other.
I've talked about this over the years so often, because people, I think people admire a relationship, and people that are close,
especially lasting ones. Yeah,
and I think that that we just flat out got lucky, though. Like we didn't do anything to make it work early on. We didn't discuss. There's so many important discussions we never had, and then just started having kids and got married and all that stuff, and we didn't have so many. Just like we're just so lucky, because there's so many other ways this could have gone.
Oh, for sure, man.
If you have different parenting philosophies, that is such an obstacle.
Oh yeah,
and we're on the same page there, and just in so many ways we ended up being on the same page for the most part. And then over the years, we've kind of molded to one another as well. Where we were off, we've kind of found our common ground. Okay, but there was nothing ever that was. This is going to be a relationship, right? This is going to be really hard on us, and and we didn't really have that. Yeah, well, it's commitment. We've had some times we had to work. Of course, that was later on. Everybody does, but I mean, it's the commitment aspect. And I'd say when I talk to people that are having marital problems, like, do both of you want this to work? Yeah. If they both say yes, I'm like, then it's going to work. Yeah. If you determine that you're going to make this work. But if one of them's like, I want out. Agreed. You can't really do much there, Not really. So, I mean, you could chain them to the floor. Right.
Yeah. Then they might like it. And you're like, okay, now our relationship's going in a whole different direction here, you know? That's right, man. It's a whole new thing. So that was funny. But anyway, so I mean, I don't know what, I'm sure you have lots of memories about
Bethany,
stuff.
how long have you guys been together now?
Well, shoot, you were there when we met, so...
My goodness.
I believe you were there the night we met. Well, the first time we met doesn't really count.
Gotcha.
But I do think you were there that night, too. That was the beach.
Yeah.
With like Zach. Because remember, Zach was with one of Bethany's friends.
Yeah.
Zach was with lots of people's. Zach was always the ladies' man.
Yeah.
And
he's the kid that was with the babysitter.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That was definitely never me.
Yeah, he was always the guy like, man, all the girls like this guy. But but the first night we actually like talked and hung out was at your apartment in Lincoln Oaks.
Okay.
With you and Andy over there.
Wow.
Yeah. And we had it's kind of a funny story, but I found this out later, but the girl that had been with Zach, how we met in the first place, they both came to your house that night. And there was a bunch of people there. There was probably like 20 of us. You guys had some other friends there too. But I guess what this other girl had told Bethany was, look, you can flirt with any guys in this place, except for there's this one guy. His name's Ryan. And he's off limits. I'm going for that one, right? You just leave him alone. Yeah. So she gets there and she's already on guard. She's like, okay, but I see her and I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's cute, you know? I'm like, she's better looking than anybody else in this room, you know? So of course I start kind of making my moves there, and she's kind of at first trying to like, oh, I kind of like him too, but like I was forbidden, you know? Mm-hmm. So, you know, and then that night we just kind of hung out and talked afterwards, and then I went back and forth into Pomo to visit her all the time, and then they moved to San Diego like a month later. Yeah. And I followed her down there, and Sowers went with me.
Where you guys were in Ramona?
Ramona. Yeah. You ever been there?
Yeah, I went to see you guys.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's right, with Tony.
Yeah.
Tony Payne came too, that's right.
The most disgusting memory of my life. Tony Payne ate a Whopper.
Yeah. Yes!
Oh, I don't think I've eaten Burger King since then. I'm not kidding.
I don't think he has either. Last time I talked to him, we talked about it. He goes, I haven't gone there.
From 40 feet away.
Yeah, dude.
And I could smell it immediately. Yeah. It smelled like it came out of his butt.
Yes. That was some exorcism kind of stuff for Exorcist. Yeah, that was nasty.
So bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
So no, I never went back to
Not the best memories. Oh man, I totally forgot about that. I think that was in the summer too. It was really hot.
Yeah, it was.
It was nasty because Ramona gets nasty in the summer.
Yeah, I had this stupid shirt that I bought. I bought so many stupid shirts.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what I wanted to look like and what's going to look good on me, you know. And I'd look at the dummies they'd have up. I'm like, oh, it looks good on the dummy, so I'll just buy it. And then I'd get home and I'd wear it, and then I'd see a picture. So I'm like, what in the hell? Throw that thing away. Yeah. And I wore that thing there. I know I did. I remember wearing one of those.
Oh, how funny. That's awesome, man. So we're there. I only lived there about 8 months.
Yeah, okay.
And Brian moved back, and then I was kind of living out of my car for a while. And then I came back eventually, and then I was doing the back and forth again, visiting her in San Diego. And then she got pregnant with our oldest, who's now 25. She's married now.
Oh, wow.
What? Yeah, she's living.
Any kids yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
pretty soon, I'm thinking, though.
What?
I'm hoping pretty soon. So they're going to be moving back here pretty soon. They're living down in Whittier right now.
Okay.
I had her on here. She's on here, too.
No way.
I did an episode with her and with my older son, who's now 22.
Now, is he? So I heard you had a son that was making music.
Yeah, that's him.
Or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Tashara maybe told me that.
He did. Yeah, he was a fan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's another big supporter of the podcast.
Okay.
Tashara. He's always talking to me about it. But
nice. Well, you should sponsor. He's got a plumbing company.
Yeah. I should put him on there. Do a little spot for him.
Get him. Yeah. Come on, Mark. Don't be cheap, dude.
I'll show you a little bit of Aiden's music when we're done here, so you can check it out. But I think he'd probably hate that I was showing it to you.
Okay.
Because it's one of those like
delete that.
Yeah, he'll take it out. But it's one of those where it's like, and every musician I talk to is like this. They listen to their early stuff and they're like, oh, this is terrible. I can't believe I made that so bad. And it's like you watch like these Grammy award winning singers are like, oh, I hate my first album.
Yeah.
It went triple platinum. What are you talking? Oh, that was garbage. This is garbage.
Yeah, because you're at such a higher artistic level now, right?
But I'm like, but it's the fans' favorite album. I don't care. It's crap. Yeah. Nobody likes your new stuff.
I was going to say it's a reverse for the fan, right? The fan like, what happened to this guy?
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway.
Yeah, you get the musicians' respect over there with that new stuff you're doing, but nobody wants to hear it.
Right. Yeah. So, where was I going? Oh, I was going down memory lane again. But then I was trying to think of like some different things that I could remember and see if you remember these certain things. There's one I know you're going to remember, but well, you probably remember both of them. Actually, there's two that I'm thinking of. Is when you dressed as a nun.
Oh yeah.
For Halloween.
Yeah.
At Lakeview.
Yeah, played basketball.
And you played basketball. That was the best part because you were still good.
Yeah.
Wearing the nun outfit.
I had one of my better games.
That was awesome. That was so great, man.
I was wearing slippers too, and I was like, it gave me some slide, so it gave me a little extra juice. I think, and I could spin a little better. You know?
Yeah. That was so funny, man. And then the other one was at Lakeview too, and we got arrested.
Oh,
you remember this?
Yeah.
Or we were like skipping school or something. I think we walked to Jack in the Box.
So if you recall, there was a dog.
Oh,
we were trying to get the dog because it was running
that's
the road.
Right. Your mom was bringing us to school, and there was
jumped out of the vehicle and took off.
I forgot that part.
Dog, and then we got to a certain distance, and the dog's gone. And
yeah,
we're like, let's just take a walk. Right?
We were like out in the boonies with horses and stuff out there somewhere. Yeah,
like Hummel area, I think is where we're at, and then we walked all the way down to Clark.
Yeah,
you got yourself a
Jumbo Jack or something.
No, you got a shake. A milkshake.
Oh, did I? Yeah. See, your memory's a lot better than mine.
And then the sheriff comes and finds us, right? And he's like, he's not buying our story because we got a shake from Jack in the Box. We're just trying to get this dog. We're just being good people, good kids, you know. No, you're not. Get back to school. And what are you guys doing here? What do you got on you? He's like, we don't have anything on us, you know. And then you bring out, you had like Too Short and some rap music.
My Walkman. Yeah.
You pull, you're pulling it. You're like, hey, I have this music, but it's all clean. It's edited.
I don't know why I said that. As if he was going to bust us.
Yeah.
Is that the parental advisory version? All right, buddy.
I see the sticker.
We're taking you downtown.
Oh man, we're so privileged growing up in Orchid.
Yeah, man. I think I was scared. I had never been.
Yeah.
That had never happened to me before. I was like, oh my gosh. But the best part was getting to go back to Lakeview in the cop car.
Oh yeah.
That was the best because everybody's talking.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, did you see Brian and Jimmy?
Right.
Who was it? Who was with us? Was it Brian?
Sowers?
I don't remember who else was there, man.
Had to be Sowers.
Yeah, it wasn't Zach because I didn't start hanging out with him because I don't think he went to Gaye.
Lakeview.
Or Lakeview, yeah.
Okay. It was Sowers. Pretty sure Sowers. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you guys got one day of detention, and I got like 2 weeks of on-campus suspension.
Why?
I'm the ringleader, I guess, man. I don't know. That's the way it went for me. I guess I had a history there.
Hey, it's because I told him I didn't have the parental advisory. See, he looked at you and said, "I bet that guy he listens to the parental
His
advisory."
silence is damning.
Oh, classic. Oh my gosh, dude.
I did a lot of that on campus though. They didn't want to send me home because it wasn't really a punishment.
Oh, gotcha.
So they wanted to keep me in school and punish me where they could see me being punished.
Yeah. You're like, you get 2 weeks off school. Yes.
Yeah.
Stay home and play Mario Kart.
My mom wouldn't care.
Right.
She didn't believe in what they were spewing. She's like, not my son.
Which is why we all used to like hanging out at your house.
Yeah.
Because your mom was awesome.
Yeah. She was
How's
fun.
she doing?
She's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, she just went in and had a little procedure. And she's healing up with my aunt up north. But she's living in town. She lives in Orchid. She's an old Orchid over by Patricio's there.
Okay.
And
last I saw her, I was at the Orchid Library, and you stopped by for a second.
Okay, yeah.
I think you guys were eating.
Do you still go to the Orchid Library?
Rarely, but yeah, okay. I'm only there Mondays and Thursdays, but only for like 30 minutes because I just bring the delivery and I leave. So
yeah. So she's doing good.
Okay,
yeah, everybody's doing good, man.
It's awesome, man.
My siblings seem to be doing pretty well.
Natalie, what's she up to these days?
Natalie's doing really well. She's
she's out of state, right?
She's like a producer, executive producer for. I don't know what she does exactly. Okay. It's the color. She adds color to you can IMDb her
to like movies. Oh, she's on IMDb.
Yeah, she's on IMDb.
Dang.
Yeah. She's a pretty legit person, man.
Okay.
She busts her butt. She works hard, you know.
Yeah.
And she's excelled in a pretty male dominated place. And I'm proud of her, impressed with her. She's killed it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then but she's living down in Long Beach.
Okay.
And she's been there for quite a while.
Okay.
Long time. She's been down that way a long time. She loves it down there. So.
Loves it, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's killing it.
I've only been there once.
Yeah.
We went to that aquarium or aquatic museum or whatever they have down there.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like it's painted or something. I never went in it, but I saw it down there. Long Beach is pretty trippy. It's an interesting little spot. It's not my cup of tea, but it's a cool little melding pot of crackheads and homeless and gangbangers and gays
and Snoop Dogg,
like everything. Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
I mean, Snoop Dogg's from there. Can't be all bad.
And then just like gay old people walking poodles. Like it's a strange city, man.
Gay old people walking poodles.
Yeah, you see it all.
Man. I love it.
It's an interesting little town.
I might have to name this episode that. Gay old people walking poodles. You want to pick the title that really grabs people. Like, wait, what? I got to listen to that one. Oh, my gosh. All right, man. Well, let's jump in. I start with music first. I like to go back to, obviously, growing up together. Music was a big part of us anyway. We used to listen to all kinds of music growing up. But just kind of tell me about like your earliest musical memory you have of like the first time you ever thought, man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
can't.
that.
I've tried to do this. There's a few, I think. I remember like Van Morrison.
Okay.
Hearing Moon Dance.
Yeah.
And that song was pretty incredible. And I love Van Morrison to this day. I still listen to a lot of his stuff.
Okay.
But that, then like, I remember Billy Idol. Rebel Yell.
Yeah.
I think that might be the first cassette I ever bought was Billy Idol.
The Rebel Yell album?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
That was great.
Nice.
That one got me pretty amped up. Mm-hmm. You know what? I would say probably Rocky. The Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Like the Rocky.
In the movie. I never had the tape or anything, but watching that movie, I don't think any song's ever pumped me up more than Eye of the Tiger. I was jumping on the couch, like ready to fight when Rocky's playing that jam.
Okay, I have to share something with you real quick because this is just too funny that you would mention that in the way that you did, because I have a friend, let me bring it up in here, on Facebook, who posted the other day. This is what he says. Is the Rocky IV soundtrack the best soundtrack in the history of movies? Yes or yes? And then someone else said something about some other movie or something. Yeah. And this is the part that cracked me up. He says, this is the same guy responding to the other guy. He says, while I enjoy those songs, none of them make me want to run up a mountain in Russia to avenge the death of my best friend who got punched to death at a James Brown concert. Holy crap. That's great. It was the James Brown concert part that just got me. I was like, oh my gosh. So funny, man. But see, Eye of the Tiger, was that Rocky IV?
I don't remember.
I think that was Rocky III.
It might have been. I don't know. It might have been both, frankly. Like it could have been.
They could have brought it back for but I think it was first in the one with Mr. T.
I most remember Rocky IV, though. That's
we all do.
Resonating with
I don't know if it was because of our age. Because obviously the first two came out when we were really young. Yeah. In fact, I think the first one came out
70s, I think.
Like 75, maybe, before I was even born, before you were born. Yeah. But the fourth one came out right in the prime time of our life, and the whole thing with Drago, and oh man, Yeah. So cool. Did you watch through the Creed movies at all?
I watched the first two. There's a new one, right?
There's a third. I haven't seen the third one yet.
I heard something on that. Like Sylvester was pushed out or something.
Oh, really?
I'm not watching it then.
Oh, yeah. He's into it. He's the brain power behind that whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Just pay the guy respect, let him finish like he is Rocky. He can't be Creed without Rocky.
When he wrote the script for the first two movies anyway, I don't know how far that went, but but like in the second Creed where you got Drago's son.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was epic, dude. Was fun. So cool.
I love that. I love the reliving of those that when you bring back this old thing from my childhood. Yeah. You let me do it again, like Stranger Things. That was the amount of wonder that there was in the 80s when you watched a show is unrivaled. There is no wonder really in these new shows. They don't build that in these movies or shows anymore. Right, it's just absent. Yeah, and it's hard because you try to take the kids back. I try to take the kids back to have them watch some of these things, and it's hard for them to get past how bad it looks. Right, the visuals of it, this sucks, and the acting, quite frankly, is pretty bad too. But it's just there is something to those movies. Yeah, and maybe it's just because you can't have that can't really find that wonder as an adult.
Yeah.
Maybe they see that wonder in these new shows.
Maybe they do, right?
Yeah.
And we just don't see it.
Yeah.
Because we see it in those other movies because we grew up in that. Like
Right.
you watch Goonies or Never Ending Story or some of
Yeah.
these movies like, oh, dude, this is like,
Yeah.
this is my childhood, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's them. Either they don't have that or we just can't see what they're having. I'm guessing more the first thing, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's the first thing.
Right.
So I don't really see them attached to movies in the
Right.
same way.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess the question will be, we'll find out, was if when they have kids, will they be so excited to show their kids the movies they watched growing up?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
And I do have my middle girl, Raya.
Mm-hmm.
She will go back a little bit to some of the older stuff, and she's a little more open to that than the other two are.
Well, you got one winner in there. Then.
Yeah. But so she likes some kind of odd music, and I don't know if odd's the right word, but just, not normal for her age.
Right.
Probably.
Right.
She likes some older stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
That's cool, man.
Adela's more into, she's into the theater now, so that pushes her back to some older like theater stuff, but she's right. Which isn't really my favorite style.
No,
like
me
theater
either.
music isn't not really my I don't really like if it's too Caucasian, it's not for me. And it's generally too Caucasian.
Okay.
But I did like that. Oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the name. I'm really bad with recall. The one with all the old. He's got George Washington in it and all these.
Oh, Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Hamilton was outstanding. But the music was.
It's hip hop music, right?
That was my jive. It was fun. It was.
I appreciate that only because it's so. Who thinks of that?
Yeah.
He's all right, guys. I got an idea. We're going to tell the story of the founding fathers, and it's going to be a musical, which is already weird enough. But get this, it's going to be hip hop.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Get out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I want to. How many producers did they shop that around to before somebody finally picked it up?
I guess this is one of the advantages of wokeness, though, right? You can utilize it to do something fun and cool.
True. Might be the only advantage.
Yeah, it probably is. Well, I mean, advantage for who? I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of flavor in that. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list.
It's great,
and it's on Disney Plus now,
really
which
good.
we have
because it's telling the story pretty correctly. So you're getting some history to some people that never would have watched this,
right?
If it was too white bread.
And I wonder if they show it in schools and stuff now. They probably get a better reaction. The kids probably learn more.
It would definitely learn more. 100% they would learn more.
Yeah,
that's the big failure of our schools. Though, not getting information to people in a way that they can take it in.
Right.
That's why I wasn't in high school.
Right.
That's why I wasn't. I mean, frankly, I don't think I passed a grade after second or third grade. I think I think I passed third grade because Miss Hurst was there and she was pretty cool. It kept my attention going pretty well.
It gets pretty hard after that, though. Like fourth grade's hard, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Miss Thorson. Yeah. She used to live on the corner of my street over there.
Yes.
Yep. On Drake.
Yep. She did. She was horrible. I hated her. and
everybody liked Miss Hurst because they thought she was hot.
Yeah, she's the only time my dad ever came to school was in the third grade when they had Miss Hurst.
Hey, can we set up another parent-teacher meeting, please?
That's 3 this week, Jim. I'll bring the beer. Yeah. No, but I didn't pass any grades from I think third grade was the last grade I passed.
Okay.
And then they were just like, well, we don't want them back, so here you take them.
Yeah.
Here you take them fifth grade. Here you take them Lakeview.
Right.
And so on, and it just it's horrible. They do it to a lot of kids now.
Oh yeah.
They did it to my middle child. They made her feel like an idiot, like she wasn't smart and that. She wasn't trying. That's the worst part, is that they would say that I was lazy, or they would say, I would have rather been called dumb.
Right.
It's easier to get my head around. Well, I'm just not that smart. Okay.
Right.
But they would say things like lazy, and it just didn't. Whatever they were trying to feed didn't work. And then when they called me lazy, I was like, okay, well, it's on. I'm going to make every day of your life more difficult than mine.
Right.
Whatever you do to me, I'm going to do twice as bad to you.
Yeah.
And then my wit didn't help because. You're going to try to make me look like a fool in class. You're going to lose that every time. I was undefeated until Urbano showed up in Lakeview. I don't think, in terms of like battles of wits, I had a peer until then. Yeah, and then Andy was pretty witty. He had some funny stuff. Oh yeah, and that made me even better though.
Yeah, because now you got competition. You want to try to one up him. You know? Yeah.
Now he's lame. He's not funny at all. No, I'm just kidding.
I haven't talked to Andy in a long time. I saw him at Jack's restaurant probably 7-8 years ago now. Right. He was eating with his mom.
I love Jack's. I think Jack's is better than Kay's now, man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That might be our first disagreement.
Wow.
I like Jack's, but to me, Kay's the best breakfast in town.
Yeah, well, so we go there a lot because of the chili verde omelet.
Oh,
that's the bomb.
Right.
It's really bomb.
Right.
But I prefer Jack's waffle.
Okay.
And I love waffles.
See, maybe that's the kicker then, because when it comes to breakfast, the bready stuff is not my favorite part.
Oh, good for you.
Pancakes, waffles, all that. I'll eat it.
Pancakes.
It's okay. French toast. It's good. But I'm all about like the omelet and the potatoes.
Go to Jack's.
Okay.
Get the waffle, side of bacon.
Yeah.
Get the waffle.
Okay.
Extra butter.
Extra butter. That's
enough butter for every little square.
A whole stick of butter on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you do your syrup to whatever your liking is.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Good stuff, huh?
Orgasmic, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And they have good breakfast sandwiches there too. They got a couple of those that are pretty good.
I've heard that. I just get the waffle.
Okay.
Yeah. And the bacon.
Okay.
Bacon's really good.
Bacon's pretty good over there. It's a thick cut.
It is. It is. And they cook it well, and I love them too. They're good people. Not that the other place isn't good. They're great too.
Yeah, of course.
Love that place.
Yes.
I feel welcome.
They're all local, which is awesome.
Places,
yeah.
And I think we should take our money to both those places instead of going to Applebee's like we did the other night.
Yes.
But yeah, just I don't know. I got a little preference there now.
Okay.
For at least breakfast.
Okay.
I don't know if you're right though. Like it just depends on the vibe. If I'm gonna get an omelet, I'm probably gonna go over there and get that chili verde.
Yeah.
Or I drank too much last night. You know that one's pretty good.
We
too.
like the bag, or I should say the bags.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on the menu.
I saw that.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Artichoke, garlic, and spinach.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah. You don't like that stuff? Which part, man? Which part don't you like?
The vegetables.
All of them? The bacon's in there?
Yeah, I like the bacon.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not an artichoke fan?
You lost me at artichokes, man.
Oh, dude.
I can eat them. I just don't.
That's like one of my favorite pizza toppings of all time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to live a long time, so I stay away from veggies.
Okay. Is that how you do it? Veggies are killing people. What's that stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
Oh, was it Jim Gaffigan?
Yeah, he's great.
I forget which one said it though, but he goes, man, those vegetarians. My brother's a vegetarian. Or no, my brother. Oh, it was Larry the Cable Guy.
Okay.
That's who it was. Okay. He goes, my brother's a vegetarian and it killed him. Yeah. And like he was hit by a carrot truck last week. Or something, you know. That guy's the best at just the one-liners. It's like his stand-up is literally one 10-second joke after another. There's no long jokes.
Yeah.
We're like Gaffigan. They're like they'll build up a joke for 5 minutes. No. He's just like boom, and then into something else,
Chappelle's a man.
Yeah, that guy's smart.
Like, where is this going? Sometimes I'm like, where is he going with this? You know,
right?
And then he gets there like, oh, I'm an idiot. How did I not see this?
What was that last one he had? I saw a clip of it. It was about he tells this big long story, and everybody's wondering what he's even where are you going with this? And then he said something about the trans community or something, or that's why I disagree with the trans community or something. Oh
yeah, because you're living in this other reality. I can't remember the basis of that either. That was in his most recent.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
it was very funny. Yeah, he's the best.
He's smart, man. I appreciate really the smart comedians. I almes felt that way about Chris Rock.
I know, there's not too many dumb ones though.
True,
they're pretty bright.
It takes a lot.
That's another thing podcasting will teach you. You know, like listening to some of these comics and long form conversation. So, okay, there's more to this guy. You know, he's brilliant.
Like Bill Burr.
I think
that guy's a genius.
He is a genius. Yeah. We watched him in Vegas.
Oh, you saw him live?
Yeah,
nice,
so good, man.
That's awesome.
I just love the way like he takes you and he'll build up this one side, whoever it is, the conservative side or the liberal side, and like build you up to where you're just gleefully cheering, you know, on your team,
and then he'll kick you in the face,
an idiot, you know, like. And you get to watch that when you're live. You can just like you turn, and look at the idiots that were laughing.
See, they should have that in the comedy special.
They should.
They should show the audience. Like, everyone's like, they just watch their hearts break.
And it's equal opportunity, man. He hits us all, you know.
Oh man, that's too funny, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but so music, guys like Marvin Gaye, early on, hearing what's going on.
Yeah, that's
that
good.
kind of stuff was good. But really, my first love is rap.
Right.
You know, when I listened to NWA and heard Easy and Ren, I really liked Ren too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody ever gives that guy enough credit.
I think Ren was my favorite.
Yes.
Initially. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to top Eazy-E, but Ren was.
Yeah. I liked Easy's voice was a little feminine.
Yes.
So that was the only thing for me at that time, because I'm like Mr. Uber masculine. Like I want to be, super manly as possible. All right. So I think that drove me more towards that deeper voice artist in general. With rap music for a long time. But Easy's the man, dude. Now I love listening to Eazy.
Well, that's why I always put him at the end. He's like at the end of every song. He just comes in and kills it.
Yeah, he's hitting cleanup.
Yeah. It was like, I always use this as, it's because it's similar to me, and you probably know what I'm talking about because you used to listen to this too, but you remember like DJ Quik and Second to None and like AMG, right? That whole clique.
Yeah.
And then there was High C.
Yeah. Dude,
and whenever they do the collabs, he'd come in at the end. Because he was like Easy, just come in and he'd nail it at the end. It's like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for. Yeah. These other guys are pretty cool too, but just wait. Yeah.
He's a unique one. He's the one that stands out for sure.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Amazing you didn't have more success, although he has a fairly recent album that I listened to a song off of.
Is it any good?
It was great.
Okay.
It's hilarious, of course, right?
Like, yeah. You're talking about High C?
I Don't Want to Know. Have you heard that one?
Okay, by High C?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything since his second album.
Look up that. I Don't Want to Know. It's just, it's so funny.
Okay.
It's typical High C. Like,
okay.
It might be my favorite thing he ever did.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Really good, really fun song.
That's awesome.
I like fun and funny.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what drives it home with him. It's just so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. All those guys were great too. Yeah. I mean, that whole group was. That Second to None album was just, every song was great, and like nobody even knows who that is anymore.
I know.
Like people still know DJ Quik because he's kind of stuck around, but
really, that's about a time where music changed a lot too, because he started to get the harmonies
right
in the hardcore. Like, that was a bad thing for a while. You had harmonies in there.
Yeah,
and
like what is this?
Fat,
female
gay
crap
person or whatever the words are.
Yeah,
and that we're allowed to say those guys caught a lot of flack if you had like an R&B singer.
Oh yeah,
or the R&B singer trying to rap. That was gay too.
Right. Like what was that? What was that New Edition? I think it was Belle Biv DeVoe, but it was featuring all the New Edition guys as "Word to the Mother." You remember that song?
Yeah.
And then Ralph Tresvant, I think, and Bobby Brown were both rapping in that song. And I was like, "What are you doing, dude? You got a beautiful singing voice, but
you stick to what you know."
Yeah, right.
But then the rappers came out and started doing that.
Yeah.
With awful voices for singing, right? So I mean, that's worse. Like, I think I'd rather have the good singer rapping poorly than the good rapper singing poorly. It's hard to hear bad singing, even with auto-tune and all the stuff they try to layer over to make it sound better than you do.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that was a cool time because that sort of R&B flavor got into rap, and DJ Quik did a lot of that with the keyboard.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. You still keyboard? I remember you had a keyboard.
I don't. Yeah, I did used to have one. Cop, yeah, I can still play that one. Yeah. That one and the Star Wars theme song.
All right.
Do. Yeah, it's like pretty much all I can do.
All right. Well, more than I can do.
Yeah, I think that DJ Quik's very first album, which is the one with Tonight on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Quik is the name?
Quik is the name. Yeah, I heard that at your house.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever heard that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Do you remember trying to figure out what the words meant, though? Like,
I doubt it.
No,
I wasn't that deep back in those days.
I never really, I don't get too deep into lyrics in general. I like hearing about them when people bring them up, but I more listen to music in passing and just enjoy the feel of it. But I remember we had Fred at my house playing that tape cassette.
Okay.
And my dad's in the living room on Downing.
Yeah.
Had it in the they used to have the glass case.
I remember this.
You
Yes.
push the magnet and it will open up, and then you put your cassette in.
Yep.
And we were playing it on there, and DJ Quik's singing, and he's like, all the girls trying to ride my tip or something. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's that mean? And Fred Escamilla was like translating everything.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this is what this means, and this is that.
Yeah, he was much more advanced than we were.
Yeah.
Because he came from like Bakersfield or something, didn't he?
Something like that. Yeah.
Because he came in, I think, in junior high is when we first met him.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, how funny, man. Yeah, we're just like, what in the world is this even talking? Of course, our parents would hear him like, what are you listening to?
I don't know, but it's full of rage, and I love it.
Oh my gosh,
I feel like I'm healing when I listen to this music. No, I did like NWA, Eazy-E, DJ Quik's still one of my favorites to this day.
Oh yeah,
I like. Yeah. And in fact, if I had to pick one rapper to listen to for the rest of my life, it would probably be him. He has such a large...
Even over, like, Vanilla Ice?
Yeah, slightly. Hey, that was the jam, too, though, man. Like, you can't lie. We can make fun of Vanilla Ice now, but...
That was the talk of Lakeview, man. Oh, yeah.
You were into it. You were dancing to it.
I had the whole album.
That was... that album sucked, but that song was outstanding.
Yeah.
Like, Stop This Train and stuff.
That one was dumb. There was a couple of... But you're hooked. Don't. That one was pretty cool.
Just a pretty fall. Yeah. Pretty massive fall from that song.
Right. But but now I think it was just a craze kind of thing because now you listen to that song now and you're like, this isn't very good. Like this is like he's really not that good of a rapper anyway. But it was just something. It was like same with like You Can't Touch This. Like came out around the same time. It was like that was just a big deal. They play at the dances and be like, oh yeah, this dude.
No. And you can dance. Right?
Yeah, and most of us didn't have any idea who Rick James was or Super Freak. So we hear this beat and we're like, oh, this beat's awesome. And our parents are going, all he did was play a Rick James song and rap over it. What's happening?
Did you see him dance sideways like a crab all fast?
Right. Oh man, those were fun, man. Those Lakeview dances. That was the day.
I remember
those were the days, man.
Watching everybody dance.
Well, I never danced either. I did
slow dancing.
I would do slow dancing, but only when a girl would come ask me. I was always too chicken to ask her. I was like, nope, not gonna do it. And even when she asked me, I was like, oh my god, I really don't want to be doing this. I kind of do, but I don't.
Look at me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's too funny, man. Yeah, so I mean, as you know, for me, like hip hop rap was all the biggest. That's what I started with. Yeah. Same as you, NWA, Eazy-E, Too Short. You get the Bay Area stuff, Spice One, Ant Banks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is a bummer because I still love this music, and I have a playlist that I work out to still. Okay. And I still rock it, but it's just a shame that it's such a strong music. Like you can't play it anywhere.
Right.
Like
not if you want to stay wherever you are, you're playing.
Yeah. It's just it's too much for people, and I don't know. I see other people like bumping, driving their cars, and like hitting with them 12s. Listening to some of that stuff. I'm like, you look stupid.
And you're like,
I don't want to look like you, man. Like whatever that. I love the music, but I just don't want to be that. I don't know, it just doesn't look. It looks weird.
I never understood that. Yeah. Like my cousin was all big, and he had the 12s behind the seat and the whole deal. And I always thought like, I never did. I was
had
like,
my whole system picked out for like $48,000.
But you never got it. You never hit the jackpot.
Didn't quite get there financially.
Someday, man. Don't give up the dream. The dream's still alive.
Now I got a $50 head unit. And probably the whole system costs like $200 maybe, like pretty awful. But I still like it. I love that. I love that. I do. I mean, in all seriousness, I'm talking about these people that I see and I do like it. I do enjoy it still, like the bass and feeling it and all that. I think it's cool. I do enjoy it, but I just can't really.
You can't bring yourself to do it.
I can't do it. I just feel like it's a little foolish. Yeah. It's a little offensive too. Like I don't want to put that. I speak how I speak, and people may not notice on here, but
you're offensive enough as it is.
Pretty foul mouthed as it is.
So you don't need your music to do that for you.
No, I just don't want to offend the world before they meet me.
Get him in the door first, make him see you're a pretty cool guy, and then hit him with that stuff. So like fast forwarding to like today, do you have like would you say like rap is still like your favorite genre, or have you kind of morphed out of that a little bit?
I've still to this day probably the music I feel the most. Like when there's something good and it's got a nice bass line and a good beat to it in rap, it's hard to rival that for me. But there's just not a whole lot that I hear now that I can say that about. So I'm really mostly listening to gold school rap, back in the 90s. It's okay. I don't have a lot of new stuff like Afro. You heard Afro. He's a newer one that's
not that
really good.
Because I Got High guy? No, that's Afro Man.
Afro Man. This is Afro. It's like A-F-. Okay. And and he's great. He's really talented, and he's got that old school sort of style.
Oh, really?
To him, and he pays homage to that.
Okay.
That era.
Okay.
There's a few others.
That's impressive when somebody can do that.
Yeah.
When they can sound like something that was the style 30 years ago. That's always impressive to me.
And make it good today.
And make it good,
and be a relevant artist. And
right.
That's the hard part, is you make good music, but it's going to be a fringe
right,
thing.
Right.
And, you're not going to make any money, and
Yeah.
people want to make money. You kind of have to now.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you going to pay for that $20 burger now at McDonald's?
Right.
So,
yes. You're not. You're going to go to Red Robin or something instead and spend the same amount of money. And get bottomless steak fries.
Upgrade. There you go. You see, they had this thing with my coworker was showing us. They had a special offer at Applebee's.
Okay.
And it was, it was $200, and you were going to be able to eat there unlimited amount of times per month or something, and you got but anyway, it sold out in minutes. You couldn't even get to it because they had this special thing.
So you pay $200 one time for the month, like say January 1st, and you can eat there.
I think it's for the year.
Oh my gosh!
And so you can go like once a day. I'm gonna mess this all up. I don't remember exactly, but
dude, I
would have
jumped
like this.
on that. Yeah,
and it's just kind of sad though that we're in that spot where we gotta go chasing Applebee's membership so we can afford to eat. You know?
Yeah,
but it is. That's the reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's still it. And in fact, I would say my two current, one of my current favorite artists is Citizen Cope.
Okay.
And he is...
That's a rapper?
He's a singer.
A singer, okay.
But it's heavily hip-hop influenced.
Okay.
So his beats are very hip-hop. They're very rap. And he's just singing to the hip-hop.
And that's spelled
it's almost
how?
like an extended hook to a rap song or something.
Okay.
You know, and he's just singing.
Interesting.
Singing Citizen Cope, C-O-P-E.
Okay,
Cope.
like it sounds, okay.
Yeah, he's probably my go-to because I get that feeling that I kind of get from a good rap song.
Okay.
Less the rage. And
and is he pretty new, this guy?
No, not that new.
Okay.
I mean, he's probably
been around a while.
Yeah, I think he's been around since early 2000s or something probably. Or and then Amos Lee is another one, also a singer, like folk American.
Oh, okay.
That style of music, but a lot of soul to him. And he's got the most awesome voice I've ever heard.
Okay. I
love him. That's my go-to stuff that I listen to, those two currently. And I listen to modern country, like the regular. I listen to a whole catalog of country from George Jones to today.
Okay.
You know, and I enjoy.
Because looking at you right now,
you wouldn't think
that's what you would think. You got the cowboy hat, you got the ZZ Top beard going on. You know, you'd be like totally the country guy for sure.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah. No, and I do like it. I do like it a lot.
Did you used to hate
It's
country?
a different. Yeah, I did.
Like me. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
back in the day,
I hated everything. Yeah.
Except rap.
In that time, I would never have admitted to liking anything other than rap music, pretty much. That was the thing. It was the cult of the time.
At least it was in our group. Yeah, you know, obviously,
or our area.
You get to high school. Remember, there was all the groups. You had the country guys.
But they didn't like the other stuff. Like the country guys hated rap.
That's
music.
what I mean.
The
Exactly.
Metallica guys hated country and rap music, and everybody had their thing. In fact, I remember in junior high school. Oh God, what was that guy's name? Is it Chris Esparza?
Yes. Yeah, Smiley.
Smiley.
Yeah.
He'd make the cricket sounds.
Yeah.
He'd make the cricket sounds with his.
And he would take a marker and he would draw graffiti and he would go. He would shake the marker and go. And he'd go. When he would draw stuff, remember? Yeah, that guy was cool. I've been talking to him actually on Facebook. He might be on the show.
Oh no way!
I'm still trying to get him on.
That's cool.
But
he was always interesting. I didn't really know him outside of just being in class with him, but he seemed cool. Yeah, and he would do the. He would always be like doing the
drumming,
Boys to Men.
Oh, Poison.
With
Belle Biv DeVoe.
He'd be drumming.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it was him, and it might not have been. It might have been somebody else. Yeah. But he was one of the guys that would have been into that genre at the time, and they played that. They played like Enter Sandman or something.
Oh, nice.
They got one of the DJs to play it.
Nice.
And everybody left the dance floor except them,
Which is so funny because that's around the time that all that kind of started to change. Mm-hmm. Right? Like Probably like shortly after that, because I think when like the Black Album came out by Metallica, like when Enter Sandman came out, and then especially like when like Nothing Else Matters, like a slow song where he's not, you know, screaming as much in the vocals, and people are like, well, who's this? Metallica? Wait, what? They have a new singer? No, it's the same guy. What? So, and then, you know, and then shortly after that, you had like the Limp Bizkits coming out, and the Linkin Parks that were and melding. Remember and Sublime? Oh, dude.
Sublime was a big one for me. I think it opened up a lot of different.
Because what kind of music
options.
Was that even? Every song was a different.
I still don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah, you can't really.
Especially on like the 40 Ounces album.
Yeah.
So good.
That's the one. That's the first one I heard.
Me too.
I didn't hear Robin the Hood until later.
Which that one was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Although we used to crack up at the Raleigh.
There's some good.
So bad. So funny. But
there's some good ones on there. There's one where he's got that rapper Cue Ball in there with Cue Ball and Brotha Lynch.
Really?
These are, you know, Brotha Lynch, right?
I know the name.
Yeah, he's really violent.
Yes,
Sacramento rapper.
He's one of the first, like, gross, like morbidly death
like
and
doing
stuff.
Things to dead people. You know, like just a terrible thing you don't want to listen to. Nobody edit it out.
This isn't a plug for him at all. We don't want to support that.
But Brotha Lynch and Cue Ball, who Cue Ball died later. That was his cousin, and he died. Oh, wow. So I never knew who Cue Ball was. I knew him in the newer music. You know, you mention him, and there's like he pays homage to
in the Sublime songs. You mean?
No, this is in the Brotha Lynch album.
Lynch.
So I'd heard of Cue Ball, and then went back to that Robin the Hood album. And he was on that. He was in one of the, because it was just like a conglomeration of different songs sometimes, and it wasn't even full songs on there. It was kind of like folded in. So he was on one of those, which was kind of interesting. So he had everything. So Sublime was just there in it.
Yeah, Robin the Hood had. There are a few songs that I like. I like the song they did with Gwen Stefani, the Seeing Red. I Saw Red. And then there's that Pool Shark. Which is almost like haunting to listen to now. It's supposed to be, someday I'm gonna lose the war, and you're like, oh my gosh, he did. Right? It's just it's sad. You know, like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think most of that album was
geniuses. It seems like
right.
They lose their mind and get on the drugs.
And then you got all the money. You can afford afford to be a druggie. But I'm like, you got all the money. What do you need to be a druggie for? You're supposed to, drugs are taking you away from happiness, right? Or from depression. I mean, they're supposed to, or whatever. But like, you got everything you could ever ask for, you know. But that's what I always tell my kids too. I was like, look, you know, these people in Hollywood, they got all the money, they got all the women, they got anything the world has to offer. They have it at their fingertips, and they still kill themselves sometimes. You know?
They got all the women, but they can't keep a woman.
They can't keep one. Yeah, they don't have a relationship. They don't have anybody that loves them.
What that is.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a shame. And just having all this stuff, and then not having, you know, because we all have our own lives now, and you know, I talk to John and Andy and Brian.
Oh, nice.
And I talk to Zach occasionally.
Oh man, I haven't talked to those guys.
And I talk to you annually, pretty much. And we fell off in COVID, but where was I going with this?
I don't know. We're talking about Sublime. We're talking about what was I talking about before that? Robin the Hood. Hollywood.
Oh yeah. So you have
Suicides.
So your friends kind of go where they go, and then say you're one of these uber successful people. And you don't have those old friends necessarily, and then you got these new people, but you don't know if they're your friend or they're just there to be part of the ride, you know, just to leech off of you and get somewhere with you. So not having like, I know you're my friend, you know, I know these guys are my friends because they still call me, they still, you know, like we still.
Well, we were friends with you before you were famous, so you don't have to worry about us trying to mooch off your fame, you know.
That's got to be a hard place for a person.
Hey, I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm just happy to be here.
Hey, you're the one with the podcast.
World famous.
World famous, baby.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's got nothing on me,
5 stars,
man.
I think.
That's
I
right.
don't know.
It does have 5 stars.
I gave you 5 stars.
I think there's only been like 4 reviews.
All right, well, I'm one of them.
I do have 5 stars.
That's awesome. That'll be my claim to fame someday.
There you go, man.
I was like a top 4 first 5-star ratings.
There you go. And I was on the podcast. Check out my episode. No, but that 40 Ounces album, I first heard that in Rob May's car. Remember Rob May?
Yeah.
So we used to.
Is he a lawyer or something?
He is, dude.
Yeah, that's cool.
Crazy.
I love that. Yeah.
It's like, nice job, man. But and I haven't talked to him since high school either.
Right.
But we, for whatever reason, we didn't have a third period. I think it was his junior year or senior year. I forgot. And I don't know. It must have been some mess up in the books or something. We were like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
we didn't need the credits. Maybe
something.
Sense, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So we just bail. We just go to the donut shop. We get stuff, whatever. We should drive around and just listen to music. And he had that in there, and I was like, and I heard Waiting for My Ruka comes on. And I'm like, starts with this dog barking, and then it's like, doom,
what is it?
Doom,
yeah.
Doom, doom, on the east side. I'm like, what is this? Like, dude. And then the next one's like into like this reggae jam, and then there's like a hip hop song, and there's like this, this like punk, like thrash punk song, and I was like, what is happening? Is this like a compilation? Yes. Yeah. And it's like, no. He goes, no, it's the same three guys.
Yeah.
Same singer and everything. I was like, shut up.
Yeah, it sucks.
Blew my mind. I know.
They probably would have sucked later anyway.
I don't know, dude. I think as much as I love the 40 ounces, if you listen to the self-titled that came out after that, or I guess after Robin the Hood, I always feel like Robin put Robin the Hood as their first album. Yeah. Even though it came out after 40 ounces.
It did.
Just because it's, it just sounds
music's
different.
older.
Oh, is it really?
I think so.
That would make sense.
I don't think they recorded it after.
Okay.
I think it was already recorded and they just
that would make sense by the sound. But that self-titled album is, I mean, production-wise and just even the songwriting, I think they really started to.
I could listen to that over and over at the same time.
It's every song on there is awesome too.
All day in a loop, I could listen to that song all day.
Yeah,
it's no problem.
It was great.
Do it.
So I do wonder like what maybe the next few would have been good, and then maybe after that they would have started to suck like most bands do. But very few bands can. Yeah, we'll never know.
They left us with what they left us with.
Oh, well, then they started Long Beach Dub All Stars with a different singer. I don't either. Yeah. I was like, Bradley's gone. Forget it.
Got Rome with that Rome guy. And Rome is good. He's a good singer.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I'm just not interested.
He's not the same.
Yeah, can't be. Yeah, it was Bradley.
I know.
And that's who made the band.
Yeah.
I don't know how you.
I heard his son is a musician now.
Oh, no way.
I don't know if he's in a band or if he does solo stuff. I haven't heard any of it, but I just
life's
heard
probably
that.
too good. He's not going to be any good.
Yeah, he's got nothing to sing about.
He needs some demons.
Oh my gosh.
His dad died early, so
right.
That'll mess it up a little bit.
Well, he was what, 1 or 2 when that happened, or maybe even younger.
I don't know.
I don't remember how old he was.
Yeah. I didn't even know he had a kid, frankly.
Well, he's in the cover to that last album they had, the self-titled one. It shows Bradley holding the guitar and he's singing to a baby.
Okay.
And that's like his newborn son or whatever.
Okay.
So, but anyway. All right. How about most influential musician, band, singer for you?
It might be them. It might be Sublime. Yeah, because it really just kind of opened up everything. I started listening to more punk stuff.
Okay.
And not a lot, But
that's what got you moving towards it.
And
nice.
Pennywise and the main ones that everybody knows, like the skate punk, like a lot of
Bad Religion.
Yeah, Bad Religion was great and fun. Yeah. And even then, I never went through the whole catalog of any of these guys. I just found some songs. I'm like, I like that. I'll put that on a list and play that as it comes up in my And then some harder, like Mastodon metal and that kind of stuff too, and just all over. I mean, country, everything just opened up in that time for me. And I don't know if that's parallel to the world that we're talking about. Like, where did this all happen? When did everybody become? Because that was a thing. I remember when chatting became a thing. We had AOL.
Oh yeah.
You get connected on there eventually, and you get into these chat rooms and you chat with just random. It was just a chat room, and that would be the thing. What kind of music are you into? And it somewhere in there it became, I'm in everything. I like whatever. I just like what's good.
Yes.
And that was probably late 90s, I guess.
Probably, mid to late, I would say.
Yeah. So I think that those type of bands that you're talking about, where this sort of fusion between pop and other things came, then we all just became that. We like everything.
To where now you ask people and they basically say that. Yeah. I like everything.
Yeah, if it sounds good, I like it.
It sounds good, I like it. Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I just don't hear anything that sounds good.
There's not a whole lot. So that leads me to my next question that I ask is like, what's the most recent like music that you got into? It's like a new artist that you maybe just heard, or maybe not even necessarily brand new artist, but maybe something you've never heard before that you heard recently and you're like, oh man, I got to get some more of this because this is great, especially in a world where most of the new music sucks. So finding those new ones that you like is kind of hard.
Oh, so I like this. My daughter listens to NF. He's a rapper.
Huge fan.
Really good.
Huge fan.
Really good.
Saw him live in Portland.
Oh, that's cool.
It's
that's
awesome.
Very
right
cool.
when the Search tour, which is my favorite album.
Okay, all right. So I don't even know that well now to even tell you which album or what songs, but but I do like them. Like
Okay.
she brought them to my attention. I've listened to them. I got a little, like a station I picked up on Spotify.
Okay.
I'm throwing that into the workout mix. So
Okay.
I can sort of get more familiar with
Okay.
them.
Yeah,
He's
NF.
talented.
NF is the
You see the Eminem influence in him
for sure,
Yeah,
dude.
but he's
especially if
getting
you
his
go
own
back, he has a first album that is kind of hard to get.
Yeah.
You can and he'll admit that Eminem was the biggest influence on him, obviously, and you can hear it in the newer stuff too. But you listen to that first album, and you're like, "Oh my gosh,
Eminem?
this is like you'd think you were listening to like an Eminem demo tape from like before the Slim Shady years or something, right?"
Yeah.
But yeah, NF is the one.
I mean, he changed a lot. Like all the white
Eminem
dudes in rap now, man.
Oh, I know.
You know,
Yeah.
and not in a negative way,
Right?
You know, like
actual
these
good
guys,
ones.
These guys can rap, man.
Not Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
But see,
what's that Post Malone too? I like
Post
that
Malone,
guy. Man.
yeah,
You
yeah.
hear these country songs? He's doing covers. Oh my god!
But see, and I love that. I don't even know what you call that genre. But you listen to him or like people like Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Dude, that's some good stuff, man.
They're accepted everywhere too. Like
Yes.
they could go to the BET Awards, or they could go to the Country Music
or
Awards,
to Nashville
right?
and be like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I was going to say, NF is the one, my son, that's a musician, credits him for being the reason why he wants to make music.
Oh, cool. Wow.
And there's a certain song, I think All I Have is from his Mansion album. I believe that's the one. He's going to kill me when he hears this because I probably got it wrong, the song. But yeah, that really influenced him. And he's the one we went to when we saw him live in Portland.
Yeah.
My son Aiden was with us and my cousin. And
Was it a big show? Or
yeah, it was in at the Moda Center in Portland, which is the same place we saw 21 Pilots one time. So I mean, it's big, huge
Very
arena.
cool.
Yeah, and we were pretty high. It wasn't like we were down. You know,
you didn't pay the $10,000.
No. But we could see, we could hear good.
Crazy how much tickets can cost.
Oh, it's nuts, dude. It's crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Even I mean, face value is pretty high, but when you get on that secondary market, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't believe that people can get away with that.
Right.
But we pay it.
Yeah.
Somebody
we do
will pay it.
because we want to go.
Yeah. It's true.
Well, you can either pay it or you just don't go.
I'm just not going to go buy myself a Stanley Cup.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah. You gotta stay cool, man. Dude, every time something like this happens, I think, can I just come up with something that'll catch on and I can just make millions and just fade into the background?
Yeah.
You know, like the Beanie Babies guy or the Pogs guy or whatever the phases were. It's like
Pet Rocks.
Something, right?
Yeah.
You get enough people wanting a certain thing, everybody buys it for a couple years, and then nobody knows who you are.
My buddy.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Well, Chucky did a lot with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
A lot of kids purged their closet after that came out. I don't want him. I don't want kid sister. Get these pop balls out of here.
Let's get it done. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, NF. So is that which daughter is it that turned you on him? So the middle one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the NF fan.
Okay.
She likes that.
That's really cool.
She likes rap. She likes a lot of rap music.
She likes the rap. Okay.
She's the only one, I think. I think Adela, there's some overlap of modern music and rap. But
is her name Adela or Adele?
It's Edella.
Adela.
It's
okay.
a combination of my grandmother Edith, if you remember Edith from from Downing Lane. She was there for a long time, probably until I was like 10.
So that was your dad's mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad's mom.
Okay.
And then my mom's mom was Delia. So we called her Adela.
Oh, you combined the two names.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was that one.
Because that's all pretty unique. And then Raya, which obviously you named her that before the movie came out.
Yeah, we did.
So.
She never. I don't think she even watched that movie. She's so irritated by it.
That's awesome. Like, how dare they?
There was also, was it Supergirl or something, or it was Clark? I think it might have been the Smallville. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Show? So one of I think his super sister shows up at some point in the show because they couldn't think of new things to write.
Yeah, we didn't watch it past like the 5th season.
Yeah.
As soon as he floated away in the cube, we're like, we're done. This is it. This is a good place to stop.
I don't know where I got to.
Okay.
After Lana was no longer prominent in it, I was not interested in the show at all.
Yeah.
But the sister was named Raya, I think, in that show from,
Okay.
He was Jor-El. And she
is that where you got the name from?
No.
Oh, okay.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where Emmy named them all, really. Like,
Okay.
I had some influence in the Adela name, but she liked that Raya name. I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that too. Do that. And then Zane.
I was going to ask what your son's name was. Okay.
And
nice.
Yeah, so that was
that
was a cool one.
That's cool that you guys have unique names, because we try to do that too. Like my oldest is Alora, A-L-O-R-A.
Okay.
And her middle name is Dannon, which we got from Willow.
Oh,
so the baby in Willow was Alora Dannon. And so we named her that, which that one has stayed unique. Like we've met a few Aloras, not very often. My son Aiden, we thought we were being unique. Well, then after we named him
Jaden,
dude, yes, Aiden was the number one boy name in America that year.
Goodness.
And we come to find out it was because of a character from Sex and the City. Which we never watched, so we didn't know. And we thought we were being unique. The only other Aiden we had ever heard of was Aiden Quinn, the actor. We're like, oh, that's unique. That's and then again, all over the place. And then our next one was Addison, which at the time was unique. That was like the number one girl name that year because of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my!
Another show we don't watch. It's like So, and then my youngest is Asher. So we have heard a few, but it's still not that common. So he's Asher Gray.
So that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
A strong name.
Yeah. So everybody, to people that are like, oh, he's going to be like an author someday.
Yeah, right.
So maybe. Hopefully.
Good. It works.
Buy Dad a House on the Hill.
There you go, man. At least have you over occasionally. That's the way. I can't wait till my kids get a house so I can trash it.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen
Payback.
that viral YouTube video where the two parents go in and they go into they come into the house and just fling their shoes, muddy shoes, and they go through the house, just into the bathroom, and then brush their teeth and spit it on the
I haven't.
mirror, and
I got to see it now, though.
It's pretty good. I'll share it with you.
That's funny. But are they trying to get back at the kids to say this is what you did to us?
All the things that kids used to drive them crazy doing.
Okay.
So that
it's still not total revenge.
Getting their revenge
because the kids did it for 18 years.
This is fair. This is where I'm going to step it up. So I'm going to do it.
You just move in
every time I get a chance for the rest of their life.
There you go, man. Nice.
Hopefully they still invite me over.
Hopefully they won't listen to this because they'll be like, all right, Dad, I know it's coming.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So lastly, for the music section, let's do if you can give me I always say top 5, but it doesn't have to be 5. It doesn't have to be in order. It's just give me some bands or artists that you would call your favorite of all time.
Yeah, I've heard you ask this.
People either love or hate this question. I've had some people who are just like, boom, 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 boom.
It's pretty challenging. I try to go and really think about it. And
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I'm I'm asking my guests to do what I can do myself.
I feel like, too, if you ask me today, it'll be this 5, and tomorrow it'll be this 5, and the next day it'll be
That's why it's hard for me.
But I would say Amos Lee, Citizen Cope, for sure. Like a George Strait in the country genre.
Okay.
Maybe like
George Strait. That's old school.
Maybe like a Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, nice.
NWA.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, we didn't talk about Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, I like them too. That was another one in that space. But Sublime opened me up to Rage.
Okay.
And then Korn too.
Korn,
that first, I don't know if it was their first album, frankly, but that one that came out and it was that build up. Are you ready?
Oh, I don't remember what album that was. Oh, was that on? I don't remember what one that is.
It's the first one I ever heard, and it had that long build up. It started with the bagpipes, and then it slowly moved into the song.
Okay.
And then it had like this and then and then he comes out and he's like, "Are you ready?"
Okay.
And it goes into this hard song. And that one used to
Korn was unique.
Up. Yeah.
Korn was unique.
Yeah, they're weird. That's a weird band for sure.
Right.
But I like a lot of it.
Yeah, me too.
Some of it's a little too weird.
Yeah.
Like whoever made a song out of like a hardcore song out of nursery rhymes other than Korn.
What one did they do?
You know that one? Ring Around the Rosie. Like there's this whole.
No, I haven't heard that one. I don't know. I only have one album by them, and it's the one that has. No, I have 2 albums, but one is the one that has they covered Ice Cube's "Wicked." It's featuring the guy from the Deftones.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a cool, different version of that song. Yeah. But I liked a little when they got later on and they got some of that weird guitar. Like Freak on a Leash and some of those, songs. And I got to check because there's a song that was Korn was in a South Park episode one time. I don't know if you ever saw this.
No.
Like the whole band was in the episode. And there's a part where he says something like, "Let's rock" or whatever. And they start playing the song and you can tell it's the actual album version, like it's not like a live version.
Yeah.
and I don't know what that song is, and I need to find out because it has this really cool guitar sound. And every time that I say what I'm saying right now, I think, as soon as it's over, I'm going to look it up. And then I forget until someone else brings up Korn. I go, I got to look that up. And then I've been doing this for like 20 years now because that's how long ago this South Park episode came out. So, and it was back when Korn was still a really prominent band. And I know they just put out
sticker was on every car back then.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Those guys are from Bakersfield, you know that?
Yeah,
it's right there, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
I was always more into Limp Bizkit than Korn.
Limp Bizkit. Yeah,
I
Limp
love
Bizkit's fun.
Limp Bizkit.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So good, man.
Good energy in the.
Yeah, dude. Stuff. Yeah. I mean, how can you not listen to break stuff without wanting to break stuff?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. There's something wrong with you. There's something broken in you if not.
You're going to justify ripping someone's head off. All right, so if you can do it, would you be able to, I know you said you're bad with titles.
Yeah.
Would you be able to give me 2 or 3 favorites from each one of these 5? Or
I can do.
Or I can get it from you later.
I'm going to cheat a little bit.
That's fine.
So Amos would probably be What's Been Going On.
Okay.
All You Got Is a Song. Keep It Loose.
Okay.
Citizen Cope, Be Sideways. Pablo Picasso.
Okay.
One Lovely Day.
Nice. This is
George
fun.
Strait's got such a huge.
He does. Been around forever. He still puts stuff out today, doesn't he?
I enjoy it. Yeah, I enjoy the. I don't hear a lot of his new stuff though. Kind of. I like a lot of the '90s country, and then I skipped to the modern country pretty much.
Okay,
so there's a gap for me of music.
There was probably all crap in there anyway.
I didn't hear. But I like that. Have you heard the chair from George Strait? That's a fun song. I really like that song.
Yeah, country is something I like.
Yeah,
but I'm not real familiar with a lot of it.
Yeah,
so.
The modern country's a little more palatable for people that don't really like country.
Okay,
it's got a little less of the
twang.
Yeah. They put some twang, but it's mixed with a little more again of a hip hop beat almost. Okay, it's a modern beat. It's more poppy. Yeah, in a way, so the it's easier to listen to.
Right,
I find it to be really easy to listen to.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay,
it's not. I don't hear too many songs and go like, oh, this is the best song I've ever heard. Right. But it's just not offensive. I'll wash my truck and listen to country or barbecue and listen to country or whatever the mindless things that
we got to do it then. I mean, the meat tastes better when you're listening to country,
Yeah. You Look So Good in Love.
Thank you.
George Strait.
We're going back to the songs.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's definitely
compliment there.
Top 3. Yeah.
Okay, so that was George Strait. Those ones.
George Strait.
Okay,
those two.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The Fireman.
Okay.
I loved that. I loved singing along to that song when I was a kid. Just high energy.
That's also George Strait.
Yeah, George Strait there. Okay. And then Rage is just I can listen to everything. Rage.
Yeah, but like, what's the best album? Like, there's only one right answer to this.
Okay, so I don't know what the. I don't know if there was something before I found Rage. Okay. But it's the first one.
You're right.
That's the best one.
With the monk that's getting burned alive in the front.
Yeah.
By a monk. Thank you.
Yeah.
The other ones are like,
Bulls on Parade could go on that album and fit in seamlessly, but the rest of it's like, it's good.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah.
But Bulls on Parade's
it is good.
Outstanding, too.
There's quite a, again, I think each of their albums after the first one has 2 or 3 songs that I would say those are great songs. Yeah. But that first one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Masterpiece.
I mean, from Bomb Track, opening up with Bomb Track. I mean, just ding 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 ding.
And it's that again, Rage, man. It's that hip hop influence. He's rapping. Right. That guy's a rapper.
Yes.
That is hip hop to me.
I know.
And it's just
some
amazing tweaked version of hip hop that is incredibly beautiful.
Right.
I love.
And that guy with his guitar. He does things I've never heard anybody do. I don't know what he's doing.
I didn't even know it was a guitar at first.
Right?
Like some of the sounds.
Yes.
I just thought they had a DJ up there with them, and they were doing other things at the same time. Yeah, that's incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I think the first song I ever heard by them was Freedom when they had that video.
Oh yeah.
And even today I'll pop that on, and it's amazing to me how they go through like 5 or 6 change ups in that song alone. Yeah. Just different style. And it's like, what is happening?
Like, but it's so
song.
Cool.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I remember putting that on for my son one time on a drive to the store or something. I was like, I'm going to play you like the best song ever made. Are you ready for this? It's just like, just listen to this, man. This is just the best thing ever.
It is.
So, but that whole first album is phenomenal.
That was groundbreaking. That's another influence there, right?
Right.
Rage. That's all in that era of where all that happened.
Right. I feel like that was even earlier than like Korn and Limp Bizkit and stuff. I feel like that
it was
first Rage
earlier than Limp Bizkit for sure.
Right.
It might have been a little earlier than Korn.
Okay. I feel like it was like 92 that album came out. 92, 93 maybe?
I know it was still in high school.
Yeah.
And Korn might have been a little toward the end of high school more. Yeah, I think you might be right. It's more middle high school, so maybe like 93, 94,
right.
94. Yeah, probably in that range. I don't know. So that was outstanding. Yeah, I love it. Zach De La Rocha.
Yeah.
What a stud.
Yeah.
Just don't try. I try not to listen to the lyrics. And
What I warm my hands upon the flames of the flag.
Yeah. When I'm hitting my heavy bag, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to that.
Oh man! All right, man. So politics is next. Jump into politics. I know at one point, back when you had social media, which was a million years ago at this point, you seemed to be a pretty political person.
Yeah.
Do you still kind of see yourself that
pretty
way?
Heavily conservative.
Okay.
At that point.
Okay.
And a little less so now.
Okay.
But
now you're a raging liberal.
Yeah, raging liberal. So much so that I've cut it. Never mind. No, just some small changes, I guess. I'm more libertarian than anything, which is still pretty conservative in a lot of respects.
It's kind of like small government kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just get out of my way. Mind your own business.
Yeah.
Don't mind mine. I'm going to mind my business. You're going to mind yours. And just leave me alone. And, close the 500 bases that we have scattered across the world. Come home. Take care of our people.
Okay.
Not Israel or Palestine or any of the other people.
Ukraine.
I don't give a.
So you think kind of an America first philosophy? Like, do you think we should ever provide aid for any foreign entities or no?
I would probably. There's probably some scenarios where we can assist, like hurricane issues or something like that. I don't know that it's my business to go to the Middle East or Europe or Asia and take care of people over there. I think that they have neighbors that are closer by that have more of a vested interest in taking care of them.
Sure.
So I get that there's some level of involvement that we have to keep us safe here. But our mind should be on us being safe here.
Yeah, first. I agree with you. First and foremost, for sure.
Not on growing our corporations or going in and selling weapons so we can, not really even selling weapons, but America buys weapons from American companies that they send to these other countries across the world so that those same people that voted to have nobody really votes for these wars anymore, but the same people that decided we're going to war are going to fill their pockets full of Lockheed Martin stock values, right? And yeah, that's absurd. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And that should stop. I hate all that. And
how do we stop that though at this point? Do you think it's doable, or do you think it's so far
This is the
runaway
question
train?
With pretty much everything across the board.
Right.
You have all these entitlements that people have now, in even just within our country, these expectations of things, and how do you take things from people that you've already given them? How do you take my money back and give it to me? And take it from these people that are supposedly below me. I don't know how you do those things at all. I have no clue, and I don't think very many people do. So just stay at home. If the complexities of the world don't need to be ours, and we don't need to be spending too much of our intellectual currency on that. We should be spending it on how do we get these homeless people out of my yard?
Right.
And get these squatters out of people's houses that, now can stay in this house because they've been there for a month, unbeknownst to you. How do you... Yeah, we need to be spending our time thinking about those things.
Well, there's a whole group of people that would say that what you just said right now is wrong and mean.
I know.
Because you have no compassion for these poor people, Yeah,
and they would be looking at a very... they're playing chess, and it's just one move that they're talking about. Right. They're not talking about the whole game.
Right.
And the moves ahead. They're not thinking about those.
No.
They're just thinking about how a move makes them feel.
Right.
You move that pawn, and you're gleeful now, like, woo! woo,
right. Right.
I did a good thing,
right.
No,
until checkmate, and they're like, oh crap, right,
and it happens in such a slow progressions that we're here where we are now, and how did we get here? Well, probably a bunch of those well-meaning people, making decisions that felt good at the time.
Yeah,
they're making decisions even at a personal level to do the thing that feels good.
Yeah,
isn't always the best move, right?
Right,
and often not. And
right.
The more we feed into that dopamine loop, then the fatter we get, and the less healthy we get, and right. And that's the same in government and politics and all this. Right. And to the people that think I'm mean and without empathy, they're just not thoughtful people,
right?
And they don't know me,
right?
And I don't know what I could do to change their mind.
Right.
And I'm not
that's
trying to,
I mean, that's what's always fascinating to me, is that there's most of these issues, like you brought up homelessness and things like that. I think at both sides of the fence, Republican, Democrat, right, left, whatever you want to call it, both see it as a problem that needs to, or maybe they won't say problem. They see it as something that needs to change. But then you start talking about how we're going to get that done, and that's where the division happens, right? And the one side accuses the other side of not being compassionate enough, and the other side accuses the other side of being too lenient, and you just go back and forth for days.
And no one ever gets to the mental health issue of it, right?
Absolutely, right? But I mean, the way I look at it,
the library, how many are not with mental health issues?
Right, right, exactly. But I mean, I look at it like this problem has gotten worse. Like significantly worse over the last even 10 years. Like there never used to be entire streets, entire overpasses that are overrun with tents. Like that. I mean, cars don't even drive up there anymore. It's
how many homeless people did we see in the 80s?
Not much.
The 90s.
Not much. But you always knew who they were.
One a week or something, maybe. Maybe.
Right.
You can't see one a day now. That's crazy. If you only saw one, you didn't leave your house.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. It's
bad.
It is bad.
It's really bad, and especially in the bigger cities. But I mean, even here, because we're kind of becoming a big city in a sense. I mean, I know a lot of people still haven't really heard of Santa Maria, but it's not. But
we're the biggest city on the Central Coast, right? Like, who's bigger than us?
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't know what two cities are bigger than us actually on the Central Coast.
Yeah, like AG's not even close.
Santa Barbara and SLO County, I don't think.
Yeah. Maybe
Goleta and Santa Barbara together are our size.
Is Santa Barbara smaller than Santa Maria?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's pretty landlocked too. I don't know literal growth. Like all the growth is in Goleta.
Okay.
That's where they got some farm land and space to continue to build. But
yeah,
I think Santa Barbara's a fixed size now.
Right.
They're not going to grow.
Right.
Unless they knock down the mountains or
build
all the way up them or whatever they're going to do.
But, but I mean, where I go with the homeless thing is I think there has to be something, because people say we care about the people, we want to be compassionate. I was like, that's fine, that's great, I'm with you, but there's still an issue here. And is there a way to be compassionate and also get them off the streets? Maybe, as long as they are compliant, and that's also what they want. But what if they say, no, I like living on the street?
I know.
I want to be here.
Do we want to force people?
Exactly. Right. And that's where you have to start enforcing.
You want to give people the power to deem people crazy.
Right.
If people had that power right now, Trump would be in an insane asylum. Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes.
So it's a slippery slope.
Right.
I get it. Yeah, I understand the difficulties. And I think that with those situations with the homelessness where you have somebody that's not willing to come in and get the help, I don't know that we would ever want to forcibly take people in, but rather than them be in prison or jail, right? So you're getting these people that are getting picked up for being, crazy, whatever.
Doing something. They usually have to do something illegal in order to get picked up.
So the cops come, they pick them up. What are they going to do with them? They let them back out.
Right.
So if there was a system in place to pick them up and take them somewhere other than a jail, right? Where they're not allowed to leave at that point because they broke the law.
Right.
And now you're going to have to go in and get some treatment because you can't function in society.
Yes.
And that's been shown by you breaking the law and not being able to to be a normal person in a jail or in
right. So that would be a sentence, not a voluntary saying, hey, do you want to get some help?
Yeah.
For either your mental issue or your drug addiction, whatever the case is, your alcoholism, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Which are all just symptoms of mental health, right? Like a normal person can have a beer, can smoke a bowl, can do a line, can inject heroin, can do all these things. I legitimately believe this.
Really?
I do believe that people in our world that we would never know are doing drugs up to the level of heroin and living normal lives. Meth, all of it. I think there's certain people that are using those things as tools to deal with their lives.
But those harder drugs seem to be a little more addictive from a short amount of use.
Yeah.
Like in order to become an alcoholic, you need to drink a lot of alcohol, right? In order to become addicted to cigarettes, you need to smoke quite a few. I mean, maybe not as much as alcohol, but
the opioids in pill form,
or whatever.
Really
but
addictive.
I mean, sure. But I mean, like people that would shoot up heroin. That's pretty instant, right? I mean, you get hooked on that pretty quick. From what I understand.
Think so. There's a belief, or there's been a belief for a long time that people that eat meat are unhealthy and more prone to XYZ,
right? In
terms of your potential death by these things,
right?
But those studies haven't been done with any controls, and so you've told the world that red meat's awful for you and you shouldn't eat it,
right?
And there's a person eating it. Right?
Yeah.
So this person now is in a basket of people that aren't listening to people that are telling you what's healthy.
Right.
So they're doing a lot of other things. They're probably smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
They're probably eating a bunch of sugar. They're probably doing a lot of other things, and you're just measuring the fact that they eat meat.
Right.
It's the same thing.
That's a good point.
It's the same thing with these drugs. Like, you have people that are doing these drugs that are lumped into a barrel. Now, likely somebody that's doing heroin is probably going to have problems. Because that person is doing something we've been clearly told they shouldn't do. So there's something maybe a little wrong with them to begin with, right? That you're going against that. But there's also some people that have maybe done a little research on that and have decided to do it for whatever reasons that they have, and they're able to do it in a responsible manner. What's wrong with that?
Right.
Why are we going to throw that guy in jail or prison if he's been doing heroin for 10 years with no problems?
Well, and I would almost agree with that. I mean, I kind of hold a libertarian view on that too.
Yeah.
But with any drugs, with any substances at all, I think as long as you're not breaking any laws, as long as you're not harming other people, you know what I mean? Yeah. So if your theory could happen, if a guy's like, I've been doing heroin once a day for 10 years and I'm fine. Yeah. It takes the edge off. I'm able to, I work better. Yeah. I'm a nicer person, or whatever, the case is. And he's
maybe
like,
they
okay,
don't
he's
work
great,
better. Maybe they don't work better.
Right.
Maybe they're less functional in those ways.
Yeah.
But they're living their life. And they're not screwing with other people.
Right.
They're not breaking any other laws other than the law that is you can't do the drugs, right? You can't have the drugs on.
Exactly. Yes.
Then I think we should leave that person alone.
Sure.
Completely.
Yeah. Okay.
Until there's harm done. If they do something, if they break the law, then you bust them for the laws that we already have.
Right. Not for the heroin, but for what they're doing. Yeah. So what do you think about the what are they calling them? The shoot up sites, the shoot up areas. There's a name for them. Like in the big cities, some of the big cities, they're saying
they're giving them needles.
Yeah,
and they're
supposedly because they're trying to stop the ODs or they're trying to stop the.
Yeah, it's not my problem. Let them die.
Right.
This is the thing. If you're not going to do the other things to help them, if you're just going to give them drugs, you're going to facilitate the drug use with my money again.
Right.
Take
of course.
Money and buy them drugs and needles. And send them on their way. And there's no mental health aspect to it where you're actually going to put them in. If you want free drugs, then you're going to go into one of these buildings too. Same one, that guy that went through the jail system. You're going in here, and it's going to be court ordered now. You're going to agree to something that is going to be a 1-year sentence for you. Mm-hmm. You'll go get all the free heroin you want, and you're going to do it in this building, and we're going to work on your brain at the same time.
Okay, so you think it should be almost like not a study, but like a kind of a rehab at the same time.
Yeah, hopefully.
But what would be the end goal?
I don't know what the possibilities are there. Like, I don't know if you
Sure.
can give somebody drugs and get them off of drugs at the same time.
Right.
But maybe you can.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, so what would be what would be the purposed end goal there? Would it be eventually to get them off the drugs, but you don't just want to make them go cold turkey, and you're just like, okay,
maybe it's not the drugs, man.
Okay, so you find out through like some therapy and stuff that maybe it's something else.
Yeah, maybe it's something else, because that's my belief. At the end of the day, I see crazy people doing the drugs. And, and a lot of people see the drugs leading to the crazy.
Yes.
And I see that there's a person that's crazy and found a place in drugs that takes them away from the world, that takes them out of reality.
Yeah.
So it's an escape.
What if it's not crazy? What if, I mean, I guess crazy is one of those terms, right? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
But I mean, what if it's just somebody who, I don't know, let's say they're depressed.
Yeah.
Maybe they lost their wife and 5 kids in a car accident, and they're depressed. I'm
not using the right words. Crazy is kind of
just mentally.
But that's all crazy, right?
It is all, technically, it's a mental
I've had
condition.
Depression. I've had
me too.
I've had anxiety and these things, and it's some kind of crazy. There's some reason for it, And again, I know that's not a nice word, but it's a mental health
because people
issue.
think like schizophrenic.
Yeah.
When you say crazy, you think you're seeing things, you're talking to nobody.
Yeah.
Like some of the people I see at the library. Like these guys are very mentally ill, as opposed to somebody who's depressed.
Yeah.
That's a little more of a common one. Like most people will tell you, oh, I've been through depressions, or I've experienced anxiety, or people like me that have had anxiety disorder pretty much since I was 13 and deal with certain symptoms of that. Yeah. But I'm not talking to nobody, and I'm not, jumping off my balcony because I think there's water down there or whatever, right? Like I'm not that. Right. That would kind of be the height of mental illness.
So it's all mental illness.
Yes.
These crazies mean say it. But it's right. I mean, it is. It's
yeah. So that's why I'm agreeing with you. I think that's definitely a term to use. I'm just saying when we use the term, most people won't think of something like anxiety and depression when you use the word crazy. Yeah. They'll think of that guy that's schizophrenic.
Understood.
Right. So.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So there's something in our past, in our maybe from a newborn stage to now, that created the anxiety. Right? Something caused it in our brain,
or it's hereditary.
We took in some information.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's hereditary or not. I think
my whole family, it goes back to my grandma.
Yeah, but maybe you suffered the same trauma
or
similar trauma.
I guess, that's a good point.
Because you raised the people the same way that the other,
Good point.
So it's all, I don't know. I don't know if it is, or I'm not a scientist, but.
Oh, you're not?
No. But again, my thinking is that it is all experience. Something happened in your life. And maybe there is some connection between child and parent. They've shown stuff in the womb, right, where your parent is experiencing something, and you've experienced that something, right?
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it is nuts. Yeah, it's
I'd be
terrifying,
paranoid,
dude.
right? Yeah, like
I thought I was a good parent, and then we started thinking about, then you start going back to like when I really started influencing the kids. I'm like, oh no, I'm not that good.
Right.
I did for a long time. I thought it was killing the parenting thing, and you start to see. These things express themselves in your kids as they get older, and like, oh man, I messed up again, and that's hard to deal with. It gives you a little guilt, but I think that everything comes from your experience somewhere along the line, all the mental illness for whatever reason, and maybe that drives you into certain dietary habits or other habits that exacerbate it and make it worse, and then there's these loops of things that happen that
that's like the nature versus nurture argument, right? And I've always kind of fallen on thinking it's kind of both. I think that when Bethany has a child, a baby, one of mine, I'm like, okay, that's its own unique individual person, and I've seen it with all my kids. They have their own unique personalities, their own unique thoughts, everything, right? Yeah. But then they also have a lot that's been taught to them. They have a lot of influence that comes from the outside, whether it's me and Bethany or it's their friends or their family, other cousins and brothers and sisters, whatever. And that molds and shapes us too. So when we become adults, it's like, I mean, even after that, we're still being molded and shaped, right now. We're sitting here talking to each other, that's molding and shaping us in some way, shape, or form.
So everything we do.
Right.
Everything.
I know.
Every single decision.
Yes, it's amazing.
The food you take in your body.
Yeah.
It goes into your gut and it creates a biome, and that biome has its own wants and needs. We are more alien cells than we are human cells. We're more bacteria cells than we are human cells.
Really?
More of us is bacteria.
Boy, that's good for the self-esteem.
So
you're nothing but a parasite.
So these bacteria want things as well.
Okay.
I think. And so they influence us as well. So if your gut's all jacked up and you're putting in bad fuel, then that's going to create this whole new reality for you moving forward. And if you're giving it good fuel, I think that does something to the brain and everything else. It's all
so you're kind of making my mind think about stuff now. So when you say that the bacteria want something as well, do you think that's purely instinctual?
Yeah, I don't think it's...
You don't think
thinking,
like bacteria is thinking like, hey...
No, it's a collective.
Hey, guys, what we want is this. Let's get together.
It's like the bees. It's the bees doing the hives business.
The bee things.
Right? Yeah, no, I think it's more that.
Instinct,
Yeah, but... I mean, I think that's where your trust your gut comes from, that term, trust your gut.
Yeah, which is a stupid term.
It is, because it tells me to eat ice cream. It tells me to eat ice cream every day.
That's right.
Every meal, ice cream and pizza.
Yeah.
Ice cream and pizza. That's all I need to do.
But I mean, by not eating that stuff, really, what we're just trying to prolong our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually maybe quality too, because the quality of your mind. Again, I think this is all tied. This is that if you get bad bacteria that we don't want growing, then I think it's making poor decisions for us and our overall health, and that's quality of life too.
Right.
You know, that's actually quality.
Now, why is it? And I've always wondered this. Why is the stuff that tastes the best the worst for you, and vice versa? Why is that?
I think it's because the stuff that's worse for you is so calorie rich. You know, it's just full or calorie dense. You know, it's a ton of calories. It's sugar. It's sweet things. Yeah. And so you like from maybe a hunter gatherer perspective, when we were running around naked, picking up,
killing saber-tooth tigers
by the hair, and doing all that. Then
you don't still do that?
So I think that in those times. That would have been something we would have gorged ourselves on as a survival tool. So we would have found sweet things, fruits, and fruits are seasonal, so you're not going to have them there for very long. So you're just going to eat the apples that are in the tree or whatever, and just overfill yourself, and maybe not eat for another 2 to 3 days, or maybe that would be a whole month of time you're eating these apples off this tree, and you're eating as much as possible because it's going to get lean in the winter or whatever. So I think it's something biological that way. That is wired into us.
Yeah, but I'm thinking kind of more like on a grand scale, which obviously we'll get to the God talk in the next section. But I put myself like I'm God, right? And I'm going to create people. Why not do it the other way around? Why not make it that the vegetables are the things that are going to do that to you, to be bad for you, and make things like sugars and sweets like, this is the best stuff for you. It's great for your body, and it tastes good. Well, you eat Twinkies all day, and you're just the most healthiest guy in the world.
Disadvantage in the survival situation, though. So if you're eating low caloric options, you're not getting as much fuel. So you wouldn't last. It's not sustaining you as long as you have to eat.
That's what I'm saying. Why not?
More. Oh yeah.
If you had the power to design it in a certain way, why not? Why won't the Twinkies give you all the power? Twinkies are giving you the energy.
If I was designing it, you'd be absolutely correct.
Yeah, the Brussels sprouts are what's making you. The beets.
Right.
Beets are the worst thing in the world. So I mean, the beets, those are the stuff that's going to jog you down. That's going to give you cancer. You're going to die from beets.
Yeah.
But the Twinkies, you're good to go, man. The pizza and the ice cream and the cheeseburgers, you're all set.
Don't eat any more bad things, man. It would be fun. That's funny. I would design it that way. Absolutely, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's just
right.
Fun.
Yeah. But I mean, I almost think if it's like, because, and again, we'll get more into this, but I mean, they talk about like what they call the fall of man, right? Which is the world was made perfect. You had Adam and Eve, and then Eve ate the fruit she wasn't supposed to, which plunged the world into darkness and sin and death and disease and all this stuff. So I'm almost like, maybe in the beginning, that's what happened. Like it was that way, and then that was part of the curse after the fall. It was like, okay, from now on, Twinkies are going to be bad for you.
So the Twinkies were everywhere back then.
Yeah, they grew on trees.
She just didn't have any interest in that crap.
That might have been the tree that they were growing from.
Yeah.
I mean, they called it a fruit, but I mean, maybe it was a Twinkie with like strawberry jam on the inside or something.
No, I think she was just tired of the Twinkie garden, and she wanted that apple.
Yeah, but I mean, that goes into the forbidden. I mean, that's the whole idea, right? And we tell our kids, you can do anything, but not just this one thing.
Yeah.
You live in a mansion. You're like, you can go in any room you want. You have free reign. You have fun anywhere. But that one room that's locked, don't go in there.
Yeah.
What does that make them want to do it?
Yeah,
and that's the one room they want to get in. And I think it was the same with the fruit. It's like you can eat from any tree in the garden, anything, just not that one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm certainly wired that way as well.
Right, I think we all are.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone is, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell.
I'm saying everyone is. I'm blanketing everybody.
Yeah, okay. It's your podcast.
That's right. I can do whatever I want.
The letters, everyone will be emailing you and messaging you.
Yeah, if that's the thing I get hate mail for.
Your first 1 star.
It's gonna plunge my thing down in the depths. All right, so let's move into some like this. This is a question I've been asking lately, just because of where we are as a country. It looks like come 2024. We're going to have another Trump-Biden election.
I just feel like such a winner. Like I feel like I won already. These are the two dream choices I would have chosen from my childhood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I was going to ask you. How do you feel? First of all, how do you feel about that we have? That's our two options. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't feel great about it. I don't like it. I don't.
You don't like either one.
I'm not a big Trump guy, but he obviously as a person that wants less government and more freedom, I'm going to vote Trump.
Right.
But the Biden thing's embarrassing, man. It's crazy. Like who's running the country? It's obviously not him. He can't do anything.
No.
Like he can't tie his shoes. No. He can't do anything.
Was it just like last week? There was some speech he was giving. Did you hear that?
Was it the brewery one?
What did he say? What was the?
So this is the most disturbing. I don't know what he said. So there's the brewery one I just saw yesterday.
Okay.
I still don't know what he said, but he said something unintelligible.
Yes.
And then the whole crowd went woo, yes, and applauded.
Yeah. Which is
like,
the
are they just
scariest
speaking
part.
a new language now? Like, because I know my wife could understand the kids when they were toddlers. Like they'd come up and be like, and then she'd be like, "Oh yeah, you want a juice? Yeah, I'll get you a juice." I'm like, when did that did not get said? So I don't know.
And you're sitting there like, "You're amazing. You have a gift."
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a liberal thing where you can just take that information in because you hear on that certain frequency that he's speaking.
Or maybe they just don't want to. They don't want to, like, it's one of those things because if they, what else is the option? Are they going to laugh at him? Are they going to be dead silent? Because that's a clip that's going to go live.
They should.
So they should. But then they feel like, oh, we can't because
that's our guy.
That's our guy.
Yeah,
exactly. But the thing I saw was, I forgot, it was something like, if anybody gets in the way of, then they better know.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yes. Ooh, that was deep, man.
I know.
Whew.
I mean, I'm almost sorry they're not doing debates. I wish they were going to do debates because that would be.
Although I think that's what killed Trump in the last election. It was that one debate they did.
Oh, you do?
To be honest with you.
Yeah,
because only because when Trump turns into 5-year-old Trump.
Yeah,
it's really bad for him. Yeah. And it was almost like every time Biden would talk, Trump would be like, it was like a little kid. I was like, dude, you're just, all you had to do was let him talk and you would have won.
Yeah.
Because he will bury himself.
Right.
Guaranteed. He can't even follow the teleprompter. He can't even read the notes that he took. None of that. He's just let him talk. But Trump didn't let him talk. Trump kept coming in there and be like, well, about this, about this.
It really was the whole thing that swayed it too was just the who Trump was as a person, right? Like how he behaved, and who was behaving more presidential.
Yes.
And it was clearly not Trump in that in that run.
Exactly.
And that's what lost.
That's what does it. And I think Republican or Democrat alike, none of us like Trump as a person. None of us think, you know what, Trump is a great person. He's the kind of guy I want to be the nanny for my children.
Right.
I want him to teach my kids the rights and wrongs of the world. Nobody thinks that.
Yeah.
If they think that, I think they're crazy. Yeah. But I think those of us that are, like you said, if it's Trump or Biden, we're going for Trump because we're looking at policy. It's not because we're looking at who's nicer or who's a better guy, you know, who I want to hang out with. I'm never going to hang out with either one of them, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was enjoying Vivek, but now he's on Team Trump.
Yeah,
and even that RFK makes more sense to me than a lot. But you just don't think these guys really have a chance. They're already talking about
is gone.
Being pulled in for a VP or something.
Who
RFK to?
Oh, really?
Trump's VP. I don't know. It's just stuff.
That would be a weird turn of events because he was all the talk of the town like a year ago, and I haven't heard anything from him in a long time.
I feel like Vivek took a lot of his thunder.
Vivek had some good stuff to say, man.
Yeah,
he had. I liked a lot of the things he had to say.
Yeah, me too.
And I think he'll be around for a while. I think he'll probably come in next time around, maybe.
Yeah, I like him.
What did you think of Ron DeSantis?
Movement. Yeah. I liked Ron too. I think
I like DeSantis.
Yeah,
he was my pick.
He's a good candidate. Yeah.
Now that he's gone,
he might be back too.
I'm
in
sure.
A few years, right?
He will. I hope so. He's still young.
The only thing I don't like about RFK is his
last name,
gun control. Yeah. K, what's K? Yeah, no, he's.
Was he against? I mean, was he for gun?
Yeah. He's the way he said it was that he is for gun. He's pro gun control, but he's not for pushing that agenda, right? Like not for going out and taking guns. He wants it to be he thinks we should all volunteer.
That's going to happen.
Greater gun control.
Sure.
So he's not going to push. But I was like, I'm out then.
There's a couple states that's never going to fly.
That's the only thing. If I had a single issue to vote on, it's gun control.
Okay. So you feel pretty passionately.
I'm not a big gun guy.
Right.
I'm a guy that thinks we need to be able to speak freely, though.
Okay.
And so the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment.
Right.
That's it.
That's true.
That's it. It's the bottom line. Like everything else after that is noise.
Okay.
All the the tranny stuff and the identity politics and the whatever it is. You got a vegetable running the country. It's all second to who's going to give me the more freedom. I want to speak freely. I don't want to hear about this word I can't say, or these words I can't say, or these people I can't say things to, or this group I can't. I have to hire these people instead of these people.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that. But I just.
Do you think there's any limits to that?
No.
At all.
What do you mean? Wait, ask.
Well, to the freedom of speech thing. Do you think that you and your family are out eating at a restaurant and you think some guy should be able to walk up to your wife and just call her all the mean names in the book and, you're just going to be okay.
I'll whip.
But why would you if he's doing something you think is okay?
Oh, no, I didn't say it's okay.
But you think he has the freedom to do it.
I protect his freedom to do it.
Okay.
I do think he has the freedom to do it.
And you have the freedom to punch him in the face.
Or shoot him.
Or shoot him.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, to threaten him at least. I will stand up and I will point this thing at you. Here, you see what's on my side. You want to keep talking. Okay. Now you're making a decision that's going to affect your future here.
Right. So I'm just kind of picking your brain here.
Yeah.
But so
I'm pretty extreme with my
which I appreciate.
And I do believe there's empathy in this somewhere.
Right.
People will hear me and think I'm not empathetic.
Right.
And I am. But
if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is you don't think it should be legislated that he can't say that. But you think that's something that'll just kind of work itself out in society because obviously we're not going to sit there and let some guy come up and disrespect our wife.
It's not illegal now.
Right.
And nobody's ever done it to me.
Right. Well, you look pretty scary. I wouldn't do it to you.
I hope so. It's just because I don't want to have the confrontation either. I don't want to do that. I don't want to shoot somebody or beat them up because they're saying things I don't agree with, But and that's the hot point, right? When we talk about my kid or my wife, that's when I spring into action.
Sure.
You could probably say those things to me and get away with it.
Right.
But when you start talking to people that really can't defend themselves, then
well, but what about a group? And I've mentioned this before. You just mentioned identity politics, or just kind of our insistence on being so offended by our identity, right? And I think of stand-up comedians, right? And that's kind of the example I use is that if Dave Chappelle, let's say, is making jokes about some group I belong to, whether it's middle-aged white guys or whether it's I don't know, people that work at libraries, whatever, whatever things I identify with in my personal life, I think it's ridiculous for me to get offended by that and be so mad about it, right? It's he's not attacking me. Yeah. But if he comes down from the stage, goes right to my wife and starts making fun of her personally, then I'm going to have a problem because now it's become personal.
But did your wife say something to bring that attention upon
Right.
herself
I
too?
don't know.
Right, that's the other part of that.
That too.
Because now you just became a heckler,
But
and you
you-
asked for this.
Right. Then you just get up and leave. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll see you at home,
Yeah.
honey, because you're on your own on this one.
Yeah, but so in that situation, you get up and you leave, right? Like if
Yeah.
somebody is doing that, if the comedian comes off the
Yeah.
stage and you don't like it, just leave. Just get
Sure.
the hell out of there.
Sure.
And
Sure.
don't support that person.
Right.
And hopefully, that will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Socially too, right? And people
It
are gonna see
will.
like, whoa, why did he attack that woman?
Yeah, but
you see Kramer went off,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and then that took care of itself. No, we didn't have to
It
make
did.
a law
Right.
that says you can't say that word.
Right.
And what we did is we just socially
Yeah.
buried Michael Richards, and
Yes.
he's nobody now.
Right.
He's nowhere.
Right.
And that's socially we handle those
But
things.
so in
on
that
our own.
situation, if it's like a personal attack or whatever, but how do you feel about, like I'm saying, like if somebody, let's say, I don't know, it's hard to use an example because I think even this is biased. Like one side's allowed to do something, the other side's not.
Yeah.
But like, for example, and I'm probably gonna dig myself a grave here. If you're a white comedian and you're making jokes, just stereotypical jokes about black people, you aren't going to be a stand-up comedian very much longer.
Is he funny?
Maybe he's hilarious.
Then he will be.
You think so?
Yes.
So let's say he's hilarious, but there's going to be a whole group that's going to try to get him canceled, and society will take care of it,
Yeah,
right?
20-something-year-old white girl.
Yeah. Yeah, the woke mob of the
They're the ones that
young
are offended.
It is.
No black person's offended.
I know. Isn't that funny?
No. Yeah, it's
That's
not
what's
funny. It's awful.
well.
I
It's
hate
it's
it. Yeah, it's
ironic,
weird.
funny. Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't. I wish we could get rid of that because it didn't used. You look back in the days like Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase on SNL.
But
they
think
were constantly making jokes about each other's race, and it was funny.
So there are those. It's hard because if you're up and coming comic,
yeah,
and you haven't quite made it, and you don't quite have your following yet, you can be canceled,
right?
But you're not canceling Dave Chappelle,
right?
You're not canceling a Joe Rogan.
They're trying.
You're not, but it's not working,
right?
They got Joe Rogan. They got a whole compilation clip of him saying N through all however many episodes of his it had to be 100 times that he said it,
right?
And that didn't cancel him. He's not cancelable,
right?
And
well,
part
he's
of the
way
reason
too much money for that.
That's part of it. Part of it is like your certain level of success,
right?
But also part of it is just not cowering to that mob,
right?
And charging forward because there's another group that's going to
back you,
buy your tickets now and help you out.
Absolutely.
And they're more, tolerant people.
That's what I'm saying,
right?
And that's what we need to stop doing. We need to. And I said this to somebody one time, and they're like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah.
And I said, "You need to stop apologizing."
Yeah.
Unless you really did something wrong. Stop apologizing simply because they're mad at you because they don't like what you said.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have a differing opinion than them. That's okay. If you make a statement and you say, "I do not believe a biological male is a woman," you have the right to believe that.
Yeah.
If you're a singer and you say that in an interview and then they start trying to pull your album from the shelves and they're trying to cancel all that, just say, "Look, that's what I believe. Get out of my face."
Yeah.
Because then the other half of America that agrees with you,
yeah,
you're going to get more album sales from them now, you know?
Yes.
So it's just, that's what needs to start happening. But there's way too many like,
the cancel culture.
Yeah, and there's their whole video like, "I'm so sorry. I can't believe I said."
Yeah.
You don't even believe what you're saying.
And all you did
nobody
now,
buys you.
And all you did now was they still hate you.
Yes.
Nobody likes you that you just apologized to.
Right.
And the people that were ready to back you
Are
don't
gone.
like you now either.
Absolutely.
They don't have any respect for
Now
you.
you're a has-been.
Yeah.
Right.
So you just be yourself.
Yes.
Just that's what I
Even
try
if
to
you're
tell
a
my
jerk.
kids. Like, just be you. Who cares? Don't go about your life or your day trying to please other people.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work.
Right.
They're not going to like you because you're not who you are. And if they do like you, then who do they like?
Right.
So that's it's basic. That's basic.
Right.
We should be doing that. Everyone should do that. And the apologies are sickening.
Yes.
It's gross. It's sad. Like
I know.
seeing The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock's like this massive mountain of a man that every dude admires pretty much, everyone wants to be The Rock and every woman wants The Rock or something in large numbers. Yeah. But and then him just bending the knee to the cancelers, man, was just pathetic. It was so sad. It was such a symbol of our failure. And
do you see that changing at all? Like, do you see there's kind of a turning happening right now, right?
Yeah, I do see that. I do see it. And I hear that because my kids are of a certain age, and I've heard from some of them that there are certain things that are on the table that weren't on the table previously. You know, like you can talk about how maybe being a tranny is a mental disorder,
right?
You know, I mean, frankly, I think every level of gayness is probably some kind of a mental disorder,
right?
I think it is. I just think they all are. And I'm not saying that,
which could be from past trauma, like you were saying,
right? Yeah. And I don't like be who you want to be. Be a tranny, be a gay, be a heterosexual, be Chinese or black.
They love the term tranny. By the way. They love that.
Yeah, I don't
that's their favorite term.
That 0.01 .01% of the population can kiss my butt. I don't care. And the rest of the population too. Whoever doesn't like it. I don't care. I'm not here to please anybody. Right. Like, and no one should be. And they shouldn't need my approval to do what they want to do.
Right.
So just because I have some mental stuff that has made me who I am, with all my flaws, good and bad. Mm-hmm. It's created who I am. If that's who it created you to be, and that's who you want to be, and you're happy, and not just convincing yourself you're happy. If you're happy, then just do it. You know, do your thing. I'm not going to say that's the right thing to do. But I'm also not going to tell you you're in the wrong. That you need to change what you're doing.
Unless you're harming someone else. Like if someone said like, "Oh, I was molested as a child, therefore I'm a rapist."
Or just
I'm a child molester or whatever. You know.
You're just trying to go to the ladies' room with my daughters.
Right.
And then
which is okay as long as they identify as a female.
Yeah. No, not so much. Not so much. not in my book, man. Like,
dude, I was in JCPenney's one time. That was probably the one time I've been in JCPenney's in the last 20 years. I think Bethany needed to get something or whatever. And my younger daughter had to go to the bathroom. So I brought her over to the bathroom. And this is when all this stuff, I'm leery about who's in the bathroom, right? So I wanted to check. So she goes in, and all I did is kind of push the door open a little bit, just kind of look and just see. Right?
Yeah.
And this guy behind me goes, "Hey, man, my daughter's in there." I turn around and I go, "Oh, mine is too, man. I'm sorry. I was just checking. I'm not a perv, I swear."
Good for him. Good for both of you.
It's like this guy's about to take me outside, man.
We got to protect him, man.
I know, totally.
No one else.
Yeah, because you know, I could have just said, "Well, no, I identify as a female."
Yeah, you could.
Then I would have went outside.
It could have been fun and funny too, I guess.
I probably wouldn't be here today talking to you.
Yeah, maybe not. Was it me?
No. It was a guy even scarier looking than you are, actually. Yeah, this guy was all tatted up, and he was like, you know, kind of thug life looking kind of dude. I was like, ooh, I don't want to not be your friend.
I don't want to end it there.
Yeah.
Your daughter comes out and gone. That's the worst part of that. I think all of it. I think like. Stop apologizing is a good way of putting it. I really like that. I mean, that should be on that should be a bumper sticker or something, because
unless you really did something that you feel you did wrong, not because everyone else made you feel like you did something wrong.
Exactly.
But I mean, obviously, we all do things that are offensive. Yeah. And we feel bad, right? We're married. We know sometimes we have to go to our wife and say, "I said something really stupid. I'm really sorry," and we mean it, right? Yeah. But we shouldn't be doing it if just because we're scared of losing our jobs, or we're scared, or our record label threatened us and said, "Hey, we're not going to release your next album."
That's a really hard place to be.
Yes.
Like, I'm not in that situation.
Right.
As far as I know, my company doesn't give what I say.
Right.
You know, and that's
which is a good place to be.
Yeah. It's a certain freedom that not everybody enjoys, and I get it. I can't really. I wouldn't judge somebody that has to do those things for those reasons, but I think they're incorrect. I think they could probably charge forward and survive it and come out the other end better.
Right.
You know, it's so many of the answers are so basic.
Yeah.
You know, like border patrol or border control.
Yeah.
What's hard about that? Why is it so hard to prevent people from coming over the border?
There's lots of reasons why they make it sound
all political, right? Like
right.
The cartel just streaming through freely is not a problem. And I think that the answer is to shoot them. So we have guns.
Would you run for president, please?
and hear me out, because I think I'm empathetic in this. I think this is an empathetic take. Because I know the harm that's coming to the Mexicans or illegals that are coming across that border. I mean, I remember in 2000-ish, I think it was 2000, there's a movie by Chris Bregard that was called The Border Movie.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's from 2000. So
Okay.
this is way back
before the crisis. Yeah,
evidently. But there was a lot of people coming across the border at that time, and so much so that this guy wanted to do a documentary on it, and so he did it. And it's an award-winning movie, maybe an Academy Award-winning movie.
Oh wow!
I think. Yeah, and so the crisis was there, maybe not to the degree it is now, but it was a pretty big deal. Although no politicians wanted to talk to him about it. Not one, not Republican, not Democrat. So now it's this political tool being wielded by either side in order to get the votes and have us argue amongst each other as to what the right thing is. It's not even what the right thing is. People, I think, want border control, but the people that are listening to Biden mumble weird words and applaud, they're thinking that the border issue is something that they want to take care of, and that the Republicans don't want to take care of it.
Right.
They want to be crazy and take tanks down there,
right,
and do all those things, but they don't really want to take care of it. And the reason they say that is because they want to pass these laws, right? That you send another $500 trillion to Ukraine, and then we'll take care of the border. That's the deal, right? And so they don't want to take that deal, so they're not playing the game. So it's a little maddening that we both want the same thing. I think everybody wants to close the border.
Right.
But my way, if you just shoot a few,
okay,
if you go out there and you shoot and try to hit cartel guys,
right.
Try to hit the civilians out of the gate.
Try not to hit the 5-year-old that's over there.
But you're going to hit some, and it's going to be a lot less dead that way.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot less harm done if you kill 100 of them.
Right.
And then they all know now. They're shooting people at the border. I'm not going across there.
It'll put the fear there.
I'm going to try and go through the front door, see if they'll let me in. I'm going to knock politely and see about getting through the front door. And there should be a pathway there for them as well. We should be allowing people that we want here to be
the
here.
right people. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, not just anybody.
Yeah.
Not just who knows.
Yeah.
We don't want that. Right. That doesn't serve our country.
Yeah. Why do you think though what do you think that Biden's border policies are so horrendous, and why? I mean, there's more illegals coming into the country right now than there ever has been by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a reason, or do you think he just doesn't know what he's doing?
I feel like, he certainly doesn't know what he's doing, but the people that are running the country, whoever they are, clearly do. And I don't know if it's for the votes. I don't know if that's what it is. You bring in all these people, or if it's just for the, in an almost an anarchist way, where you're just trying to ruin the infrastructure so that you can extract more wealth out of this thing somehow or another. I don't know how that would be in this case.
Well, that's one theory, right? Is that they want people in for the voting, and that's why it's getting worse as we're getting closer to the 2024 election. Yeah. So we can get all these people on the books. They can vote for me because I let them in. Yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if there's something more sinister I don't even know about. You know? But it certainly doesn't seem like anybody really truly wants to do anything about it. Right. But what I was going to say about that too, they had in that border movie, they had coyotes that would come across and they would rape the women often. And they would celebrate the rapings by hanging the underpants of their conquests on trees as a symbol to these other coyotes. Hey, I got another one. Check me out.
So it was like a competition?
Yeah. It was a competition between coyotes, and they would rape these people. And they're exploiting these people in
and by coyotes, just so people understand, you're talking about like Americans going over the border and illegally bringing
others. Or Mexicans.
Or
whoever's
coming
going
over.
to bring them over. Yeah. Okay. But they're escorts, I guess.
Right.
And and so they were raping these women, and there's people drowning all the time, and it's a very dangerous trek.
Yeah.
And it's not a safe thing to do.
Right.
It's not a safe thing for them, and it's not a safe thing for us. Of course, we're seeing that.
Which that's kind of where the empathy comes in, because you realize that these people want to get out of where they are so badly, they are literally willing to risk their own lives, the lives of their family, to get over.
Yeah, but I highly doubt they would risk being shot to death.
No, right.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's where I'm with you as far as there should be a legal pathway for them to become citizens, and it shouldn't be. I don't think it should take as long as it's taking right now. But I think a big part of that is because they're trying to deal with all the illegals that are also coming over. You know what I'm saying? So It shouldn't take as long. They need to maybe do some reform there with how it's happening, but they also shouldn't just have open borders. No. They shouldn't be putting them on buses and shooting them all across the United States.
And they probably shouldn't be Chinese or Middle Eastern or any of that.
Yeah.
I'd prefer we let our neighbors in first.
Yeah.
You know, if Mexican people want to come here and work, because they're going to get priority because they're our neighbor. Right. Yeah, it's in our best interest to improve that country.
Yeah,
even if it's by allowing some level of citizenship here.
Right.
So these people can make money, maybe go back there, maybe not, maybe send the money back, but it improves the Mexican economy to some degree.
Sure.
And having a closed border certainly doesn't strengthen the cartels.
Yeah.
Like it has now. You know, they're operating in all of our states at this point. Is what I understand.
Yeah.
And we've got what is it like? I think the low end estimates are like 6 million since Biden's been in office, and the high end's like 10 million.
Isn't that insane?
It's insane. Yeah, I mean that's bigger than most states. So a number of states. Anyway.
What are they? I mean, what are the border patrol people and the border security? I mean, to say like, oh, we don't know how all these people got through. They just got that many people got past you without you knowing about it. Are you kidding me?
I don't even know how many of them are passing them. You know,
yeah, they're just opening it up.
Getting busted to different places. You know,
that's true.
I mean, you see them cross the border, get on a bus, stow their luggage, and go wherever they're going.
Right,
and
then they're almost untraceable at that.
It's got to be horrible as somebody that's been working for the Border Patrol for however long, and now all of a sudden you're just a smuggler.
Right.
You're a coyote now.
Yeah, pretty much.
It sucks, man.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that the actual officers are happy about that.
No, there's probably a lot of moral turmoil there.
Yeah. But what do? You're 15 years in, you're going to retire in 5 or 10 or whatever it is, and that's difficult.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about you have all these issues. You're trying to support your family.
Yeah.
You can stick it to the man and say, no, I'm going to stick by my morals, or you can forfeit your morals and get paid.
Yeah.
That's the sad predicament you're in, and it sucks even more if you have a family, because it's not just your own life that's in your hands now, it's theirs as well. So it sucks that that's the way it is in so many aspects of life, that money talks. It's like, no, you're going to do what I tell you to say, or else you don't get a paycheck.
Frankly, maybe that's part of this thing with the illegals coming in, because you're going to allow them, right? They were trying to pass some laws, I think, that would allow for them to be police officers and some of these type of jobs.
Yeah.
So now you're competing with 8 million new people, and they keep you in line even better. You really don't want to risk that job because now you're more replaceable.
Right.
And I do think, we have to grow. And our birth rates are low, so we should be grateful that we have a country people want to come to, and we should try to protect that and make it a long-term thing. Bringing in up to 10 million in 3 years is not long-term. Not a long-term plan that benefits us.
And you think our birth rates would be higher now that men can get pregnant?
Yeah,
you know
no kidding.
What I mean? So you think we'd be busting out just as many?
They can get themselves pregnant. That's the beauty. They don't even need a second person.
Yeah, right.
The average is way up, man.
That's awesome.
So weird.
Yeah, it's a weird world, man.
I'm supposed to agree that you have a period and you can have a baby.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you need my agreement anyway?
Right.
And just go live in your fantasy world and leave me alone.
I didn't mention this. I should have in the music part. But have you heard of Tom McDonald?
Oh, I've seen a couple of his videos.
Okay.
Yeah, on YouTube. I've seen.
Yeah, he's got some pretty funny.
He's clever. Yeah. He's
Well, the last one he said, when did LGBT turn into WTF? Or whatever. Like, what is happening?
And is there like a huge percentage of like gays, regular gays, if you can say that? I don't know, regular gays.
I know what you mean by that.
Yeah, like the good old fashioned gays and lesbians we had that you didn't have to imagine anything. You're just like, oh, they like dudes and they like chicks.
Go.
Okay, that's interesting. Not my thing, but like it was, and that was hard for me for a while, like the gay thing. So I get like how we advance, but I think it's a little different. But anyway,
it is different.
How do they feel about?
Some of them are not very happy about it.
Like, I want my letters back. Like, get me out of here.
Right.
Yeah, let's just go L and G.
Yes.
And then B. B's fine.
Yes.
LGB. Yeah. And then it got weird, right? T.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Q is. Queer. Yeah, but I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
So
it used to mean strange.
Yeah. Or
it's like gay used to mean happy.
Yeah, or faggot couldn't kick a soccer ball, right?
Right.
That's all that meant.
Yes.
And then it became a gay thing. I don't know what happened. That's a Jim Brewer joke. That's a Jim Brewer joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they have to be pissed. Like all this, they've worked so hard for what they have. You know, the gays had it pretty good,
right?
And I respect them, man. They move into like parts of a city, and all of a sudden it's like high rent now and sought after. They clean it up and make you want to move there. You know, like it's wild. They're a good thing for this country, I think, ultimately, and the rest of that alphabet, man, it needs to go. I tell you what. We'll allow the 8 million to stay here in this country. All of them, all the terrorists, everybody you sent. But you're taking the rest of the alphabet.
After the LGB?
Yeah, we'll keep the LGB. You got the TQ on. I'm not going to
take them with you.
Say all those letters. All of them. Take them.
Yeah, I've seen multiple interviews with people in the gay community that are like, "What is this trans stuff? Like this? What are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense."
Yeah,
you know, it's like if you're a biological male who identifies as a woman, but then likes women, are you a lesbian?
Right. Yeah, it's.
Like what?
Yeah,
it's like no, you're just a heterosexual man who likes women and likes to dress as a woman,
right? Yeah.
Like what in the world's happening?
It's all about the control of our language, right? This is just another level of control, because if I have to agree that your reality is a reality, then you can tell me anything. I have to agree to all of it,
right?
Even though they don't seem to understand that concept.
Yeah,
that if you have to agree with their reality, then they have to agree with yours.
No, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. It only
it's
works
one-sided.
But controlling that is powerful, because we were just talking about it. You're locked into a job you don't want to lose,
right? And
now there's these words that you can't say, and these things you have to agree with. Like, it's not even enough that you can't say something or another. It's that now you have to agree with my reality. You have to support it. Like, why aren't you out here picketing with us? Right? Like, are you anti-alphabet? Like, what's your problem?
Silence is violence.
Right. Silence is violence. Yeah, and then you have people that can't say anything. Like, how many of us can? How many of us are in a position where we can?
Right.
I don't know. I know I am, but I don't know how many people are. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how many jobs people get fired from. We saw a lot of it in COVID, where a lot of people got fired for taking stands against, certain taking the shot or wearing the mask or whatever the thing was.
Yeah.
And now we find out, and I'll be honest here. In the beginning of all that, I was like, why are people not wearing masks?
Right.
Are we crazy? What are you guys doing?
Well, because that's back when we thought you were going to go outside and die instantly, right? That's what they had us believe.
The shot? Why wouldn't you do anything? Like, it's stupid. You're idiots. That's what I was thinking.
Sure.
I never once thought, like, you should have to do it.
Right.
You know, I never thought that you should be forced to wear a mask or take a shot.
Right.
But I just couldn't understand, like, what do we do? And now, looking back on it, I'm like, well, why did I take the shot? What's wrong with me? Mm-hmm. Why didn't I wear the mask for so long?
Right.
Well, it didn't work, but it was hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It was hard then to find real information, and it's hard now.
Yeah.
It's hard now.
Because all you can do is go by what they give you.
Yeah.
If the media whoever they are is making you believe, look, this thing's running loose throughout the country. People are just dropping dead like flies every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You have to get the shot or you're going to be the next one.
And in that first event, and I saw some crazy stuff happen to people. I saw a dude first time COVID hit, when it hit initially. 2020. I saw crazy things happen to people. I saw a guy turn into a zombie, and he's still a zombie today. I saw a guy 200.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that one a little bit.
Well, I saw a guy that was fairly healthy. I would say he had comorbidities for sure now.
Right.
But I saw a guy that he's an older guy, but he was lively. He was intelligent. He could speak to me. He spoke Spanish, but he could speak to you enough to where you could help him. And he came in like mouth breathing, drooling after 4 months in a coma, getting COVID. Yeah. And some people died. Like, there are people that, we all know people that died. I think a number of people.
Sure.
And that was jarring.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a little scary.
Yeah.
And you don't know. You just know who's telling you whatever they're telling you.
Right.
And it turns out like the government's full of it, and the media is just an extension of the government.
Yeah. Right.
And both are just an extension of really powerful organizations behind it all.
Yeah. which I don't think is really a surprise to anybody. But when they're making you fear so hard, you start to second guess it. Like, look, do I want to go all in with this? The government's in control and they're not telling me the truth thing. Is that worth my life?
Right.
Because what if I'm wrong? Then I'm dead. Right. So
Yeah, it was an interesting time, man. Because I was looking. I'm looking at all various different media sites, trying to figure out, like, okay, it seems like everybody's saying the same thing,
right?
So it must be good. That's kind of how I've done it my entire life.
Right.
I look at the New York Times and even the like San Francisco Chronicle and the LA Times and the New York Post and Reuters and BBC and
Mad
then
Magazine.
you find some truth. Yeah, Mad Magazine. Might as well be, evidently. But I used to be able to find threads of truth in that. Like you could sort of go in and go, okay, here's the inconsistencies. So I have what I believe now. I've read enough stories to have what I believe now. And that did not work out in COVID at all.
In the beginning?
At all, ever.
Towards the end, it did.
Well, not really. Like everything, all my sources were away from the mainstream media. Oh, okay. And it was more podcasts.
Oh, okay.
And you know, like when I started hearing Brett Weinstein, talking, who's a liberal, and I started hearing what's that actor that he has a YouTube show too. So these were some of the guys that opened my eyes because I'm hearing this from the left now, right? And even like as recently as RFK, and hearing from people that are in the opposition of what I generally believe. We're opposed most of the time. Sure. And to hear them say this stuff, I was like, oh, crap, right? Yeah. Like, the Rogans and all these guys.
That's what I was saying. Rogan was, to me, one of the big turning points because when they were very obviously lying about everything with him, with ivermectin and horse dewormer. And
changing the way his photograph looked.
Yes, exactly. I mean, what kind of deceit is that? Why are they still around?
Exactly.
To me, and I've said this so many times, that's the president I'm voting for. The one that says we are going to get rid of any news anchor, anything that tells any kind of lie at all. Doctors the truth, makes a picture look different. They're gone.
But how do you do that?
You just get rid of them.
How?
You shoot them, like you said.
Private company, shoot them. All right, I'm with it.
You're out there at CNN. All right, here comes Don Lemon.
It's hard though because it's the same thing. Like, who's in control of the information now? Like, is there just a different so you're not going to get rid of the people that favor you? Right. So we don't have Jesus in office. Yeah. So it's not going to be fair. You're going to have just all their
But it shouldn't be anything that favors anybody. That's what I'm getting at. The media should be unbiased. I know that's a pipe dream, right? But that is really what it should be. Right. It should be like, this is the facts. Maybe it's going to be sometimes we don't have all the facts right now. Yeah. But that doesn't mean we're going to make up a narrative based on what we think the facts are. No, you just give the facts. Let us come up with our own idea.
The decentralization of information is important. And I think that's what the podcasting is. Mm-hmm. I think that I really do. I think the best news is on the YouTube and Twitter, and even though YouTube's controlling a lot of their content, Twitter doesn't as much. And
thanks to Elon
and podcasting. That's the other one where people are still speaking freely. Yeah, and they've come out with some, the Truth Social, what's his name's on. Yeah, and they got the YouTube thing, but there's nobody on those. So that's who really decides if the media goes or stays. Mm-hmm. If the people that were lying to us were held accountable by the public, they would be gone because we wouldn't be watching them at all. Sure. And that's how you handle it. That's how it's supposed to work in our system. And the system's broken because we're so malleable. We're so easy to manipulate. Mm-hmm. So easy. And now you have artificial intelligence coming into play,
Scary stuff,
starting to see itself. And what can you do with that? Because artificial intelligence could be great.
Sure.
If, again,
the right person's using it.
Jesus is in charge.
Exactly, right.
But that's not who's going to be in charge. It's going to be a person with a greedy person. Yeah. Most likely. Yep. And they're going to make themselves very powerful. Mm-hmm. And the ability that Facebook, the knowledge that Facebook has and the inner workings of the human brain and our habits and all they've learned by us just giving them information over the past 20 years, they can manipulate us already, and they're doing it, and marketers are able to do it, and now mainstream media news is actively manipulating us rather than just reporting lies. They're pointing us in directions, and they're feeding us information in a way that is like we're not even aware that it's happening to us, right?
Right.
So what is AI's ability going to be at in 5 years?
I don't even want to think about it, man. That might be the end of civilization there.
It could be. It could be. Yeah. It really could be. I don't know what happens, but that keeps me up at night more than anything is AI in the hands of one person or a group of people being utilized as this manipulation tool, because it's already we're already so well manipulated.
Right. Well, everybody's talking about this thing that just happened with Taylor Swift last week with the AI. Did you hear about this?
I don't know.
So there was some AI pornographic images that were very very obviously very real, like because we've had the fake stuff forever, right? But it's so obvious.
Not true, right?
But for years they've been putting some celebrity's head on some porn star's body or something, but it's always obviously fake. But with this thing,
like square pixel thing, moving too late,
right? Exactly. But now it's like with this new AI stuff, it's scary, and I'm like, that's not. I mean, that sucks for her. I get it. She's upset about it. I would be upset too, obviously. Not that anybody want to see pornographic images of me,
right?
But what scares me the most is what if they start using that to frame people?
Yeah.
Like with AI, you can make it look like I'm committing some horrendous crime and you're going to throw me in jail for the rest of my life.
Yeah, so it completely voids this whole age of information that we finally found.
Right.
And it's now the age of dis or misinformation, right?
Yeah.
You can make, so the old Russian propaganda pathway was to release like 2 or 3 stories to the media. One true one and then 2 variations, and then you follow the one you want. You go to the Fox or the MSNBC or the
which one you like better,
the National News or whoever you're going to follow, and that's their way of manipulating people. They just stay in the space they're at, and they never change. But now, man, the ability to just control is especially if we're allowing them to control language at the same time.
Right.
But the other side of that is nobody's going to believe anything anymore.
Right.
So if you're framing people, I don't know how effective that'll be, because I could have made that video now.
Right.
Like that means nothing. The act of
which in a sense will make some actual criminals get off.
Yeah.
Because it can be like, oh no, we have a video of you shooting this guy in the alley. That's not me. Yeah. That's somebody made that with AI. Prove that they didn't.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and there'll have to be some sort of a verifiable way to like, I don't know, cryptographically, like the blockchain technology might be something where you can be filming live on a blockchain, some sort of blockchain application that it's not something that you can doctor. You can doctor it away from there, but you can't doctor it in here because it was live recorded. It's in the chain.
Yes.
So you can't really lie about that. It will have to integrate some of these technologies, I think, ultimately.
Right.
But you'll have to be able to read the blockchain and confirm that. And mostly we'll just have to trust the people we trust now, because, frankly, how much information on, say, COVID have you read in scientific studies? And how much of that information how much of that information in the study did you witness actually being observed?
Right, that's the trickier question. Right, because I personally did look at a lot of different.
I can't read it. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
To me. It might as well be in Chinese. I'm not smart enough to read
jargon.
Scientific papers.
Okay.
I don't understand what I'm reading. So
but I think ultimately I base things on what I'm seeing in my own life. Right, if the news is saying, and this is just a weird example, but I mean, if the news is saying, 1 out of every 2 people is dying from COVID.
Right.
And they're showing pictures on the news of these bodies just piling up in these overrun hospitals and all this stuff, right? And then I'm still going to work. I'm going to the store. I'm looking. Everybody's wearing masks, but I'm looking around. If 1 out of every 2 people is dying, I'd know a lot more people that were dead at this point.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't, either that or I'm living in some pocket of the country that's not the same as New York.
Well, that was the hard thing.
Right.
We are spread out. We do have a lot of elbow room here.
Sure.
It's not stacked on top. We're not in apartment complexes that are 20 stories high.
Right.
And that sort of thing.
But even then, people start getting COVID in our area.
Yeah.
It took a little longer to hit us here than it did other places, but people start getting it, and the first thought is like, oh no, my family member has COVID. You start freaking out.
Right. Yeah,
oh my gosh, what's going to happen? You know, and then they get it, and it's hardly anything. And then another guy gets it, and it's hardly anything. Yeah, sure, you know the couple people that are like, oh man, I was in bed for a week.
Yeah.
I still have long COVID. I'm still struggling with this. Yeah, there's always those people, but as a percentage, pretty low. That's a low percentage of people that are having that big of a struggle. Yeah. Most people, it's like, oh yeah, I had the sniffles for a day, or I had a sore throat for 2 weeks, or whatever. Like, or not 2 weeks, like 2 days, you know, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that in the narrative that they played with that, I thought was that, you know, some are non-symptomatic at all.
Yeah, they're asymptomatic.
So
exactly.
There's these variations.
Yes.
But it is annihilating a certain chunk, you know, and I just see those numbers.
Right.
I just can't believe that we're so easily lied to by our government like that, and our media is just so willing to go along with it. It's amazing to me. Like, I never realized to what degree until this all happened.
Right.
So I mean, I guess it's a blessing in a way.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not like I was a slave to the mainstream media typically, but gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen these videos where they piece together all the various news agencies, and they're saying the exact same thing, the exact same words.
Yes,
CBS,
I saw
Fox,
that. That blew my mind, man.
Awful.
That was crazy. It's almost like they all got the same script and like, all right, this is what you're going to tell the American people.
Yeah.
Because we need them all to believe it.
Yeah.
And there's some that only listen to your news station, and there's others that only listen to your news station.
Yeah.
So let's get it going here, guys.
I think a big thing is with government is less federal government, more regional government.
Right.
You know, more of the power close to your home.
Yeah.
The people making decisions, having to look you in the eye when they go to the store that you shop at. You know, and us being able to hold those people accountable.
Right.
And we're just too big. Everything's that way. The businesses, Walmart, like everything's ginormous.
Right.
And I don't know how to take care of that either, because I'm a hands-off kind of guy, but they seem to take regulations and manipulate them in their favor. You know, so maybe repealing some of the regulation will shrink that, but because they're all in it, they're paying the money, they're paying, they're the ones that are paying for this wokeness. You know, I just saw that kid at Starbucks, you know, beat the crap out of 2 thieves that were trying to rob him.
I didn't see that one yet.
Yeah, and he's fired, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
For defending himself.
Yeah.
And his business.
And the people that he works with.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And being a man and taking care of business. It's like the worst thing you can do.
That's right.
You're supposed to stand by idly and do nothing.
Right.
With everything.
Yes. That's
and
the manliest thing you can do, man.
Involved in that. That's the thing. Like, it used to be, well, government should be run like a business. But now I can't tell the difference.
Yes.
Between the business and the government.
Yeah.
They're both slow.
Right.
You're a number at both of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's uncaring.
Yes.
You know,
well, that's why there's all those videos of people that are just stealing stuff out of stores, and the security guard's just standing there doing nothing because it's like, if I do something, I'm gonna lose my job.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's your job.
Yeah.
Your job is to stop people like that from stealing stuff from the store.
Well, and then you call the cops, and they're not going to do anything.
No.
I know. I had a coworker that also worked at Walgreens in Lompoc. One of them, CVS, one of those places. They're all the same to me. He said that was happening there. So I didn't know that. I didn't know it was happening locally. I'd seen it happening in San Francisco and Chicago and some of these places, but they're just not going after these folks. So there's no consequences. And what's a world without consequences?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I'm saying that's where the empathy or sympathy or whatever you call it is going way too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they have issues. Sure. Does that mean that it's okay for them to break the laws? No.
Yeah.
Still, bust them.
And you see it. You see just the heightening of the boldness of these people and just the things they're doing now. I mean, they're just getting in large groups. These kids are getting in large groups and going and doing damage wherever. Just mass robberies. And I mean, they're kidnapping people in the same way. They actually, I saw a thing where they'll go in like 30, 40 deep into a mall and they surround the person they want to take. And they'll just surround her. 30, 40 people. She can't get out. And they take her, and now she's in a sex slave, getting punched full of heroin.
Right.
And
then they're stuck.
Yeah. And I just feel like we have to do something about all of it, or it just gets bigger. It gets crazier. And we're seeing it, right? Like, You can't even. I wouldn't even go to San Francisco now. I'd go to San Francisco.
That's what I said. When I was a kid, I used to love going to San Francisco. My favorite city.
So cool.
Now I wouldn't even get out of the car with my kids now.
Yeah.
I don't like to drive through there.
I'm sure.
Really.
I'm sure there's parts we can go to, and it's fine. But I don't even want to go there.
Right.
It's gross that they're allowing the things to happen.
Right.
I don't want to support that.
Right.
I don't want to be a part of it. I hate paying my taxes to the state.
I know,
because they're awful.
Yeah.
They're the most irresponsible, person I could imagine paying my taxes to.
Right.
And we frankly shouldn't. What am I paying taxes for?
Yeah.
It's not profit. It's my income.
Right.
And you're taxing me everywhere I try to use my income anyway.
Yes.
And then I want to sell my house, and you want some of that.
Yeah.
And then I want to.
And they come get more in April.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another Chris Rock joke.
Yeah.
Just pay your tax and come back in April.
Yeah.
Don't come all late like a crackhead. I just need a little bit more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
No, I don't know why we agreed to it. I don't know why we agreed to pay tax at every turn. How much tax do you pay on a single dollar? When it goes everywhere, when that dollar switches all the hands, which just a few, but the government gets in every single time and takes their chunk.
Right.
And then misappropriates it.
Yes.
With some inefficient, empathetic.
Yeah. Paying for stuff we don't want them paying for with it. Yeah.
Well, stuff that's not effective.
Right.
Like our whole school system.
Right.
I was talking about. And I just got kicked through.
Right.
They didn't try to teach me anything.
Yeah.
They two of my kids have learned pretty well through school. Mm-hmm. One of them was the same. It pisses me off, man.
Yeah.
Because I do pay for that.
Right.
And society pays for it. Mm-hmm. When you tell people they're not good enough, not smart enough, too lazy.
Right.
Then when does that kid think growing up? Hopefully they have parents that are helping with that. But I mean, also, like you keep some of that. Like your parents are going to say the nice things to you, so you don't necessarily believe them.
Right. So and then you have to say that because you're my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. So I felt like I was an idiot going through school. I thought I was a dumb person.
Yeah.
And then I got out of school and I started seeing the idiots passing high school and graduating. I'm like, what the? That's an idiot. I know it. I know I'm smarter than that dude. But
I'm smart enough to know that guy's a moron.
There's something wrong with your system if he graduated.
Right.
And I didn't. But,
Yeah.
But and so you're killing the confidence of children at an early age, and you're conditioning them to be controlled, and that's partially why my kids have been successful. They don't make waves.
Right.
Like Della, my oldest, is a high achiever, and she wants to please her teachers and make everybody happy. She wants to do the right thing, and so it's important to her. So she motivates herself to do well. She didn't really benefit from the system.
Right.
She just grinded through it and figured out how to do the right things and pass it. And my son's he's pretty smart kid, and he's going through it just fine. But I don't think they're getting the most out of any of them.
Yeah.
They're not trying to learn about the kid and like how they could teach. How would this kid learn better?
Right.
Where should he be? How should we guide this child through this system?
Right.
Like, let's find their strengths and try to feed them.
Yeah, because they're all different.
Yeah.
You can't just put a systematic program into 30, 40 kids and think they're all going to come out of that the same.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works.
No,
we're all unique. We all have different mindsets, different ways we learn, days we don't learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and all the different causes of that, culture to whatever, different families and and we just do an awful job of it, and I think that's the beginning of all of our problems.
Yeah.
And where some of the mental issues maybe start to creep in that space, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know, man. I wish I had answers for how to do it better, but I really don't. But I just think there's a lot of smart people out there in the world that would be better served. We'd be better served by if they were spending their time and energy talking about that instead of like we're talking about these trannies that don't matter.
Right.
I mean, they don't matter. Right. They matter in their world, and that's fine. And I'm not trying to knock anybody that I don't care at all.
Right.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't really want to talk about it. But you're being so loud about this.
Yes.
Like,
well, that's what they say. Why do you keep bringing it up? Why do you keep bringing it up? Because it's in my face.
Yeah.
How can I not bring it up when you got it right here?
You're telling me you should be allowed to go into the the female bathroom because
Right.
you're uncomfortable going into the men's room.
Right.
Having no problem making my kids uncomfortable.
Yes.
Me uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah, just come into the men's room. Nobody's going to beat you up or say anything.
Right.
Just go pee and do your thing.
Pee sitting down if you have to, whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah, quit being a...
No, that's what they're trying to be, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Well, God talk. Let's just start just basic bare bones. Do you believe that God exists?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Like.
Okay.
So I don't find
agnostic.
Well, at some point I was atheist, I guess, or just I don't know what the word would be.
Okay.
I didn't believe in any of it, but
okay.
I think that I've recognized that there's something magical about the wisdom found in the reading of the Bible that I've just witnessed in others. You know, I think that there is some magic in there, and I don't know if it's necessarily from the Jesus story, if Jesus was the place where all this happened, or if this is something more ancient than that, or what. I really don't know. I've never read too much of the Bible. I've spent some time at church when the kids were young. I thought, okay, I got to be a better person, so I go to church, and I went, and I actually at one of the events I did the whole like welcome Jesus in my heart, accept him, like all that stuff.
Pray the prayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did it, and I went to that church, and I loved it. It was Radiant Church in Surprise, Arizona.
Okay.
And it was one of these mega churches, like 5,000 members, huge church.
Dang.
But the Pastor Lee, was outstanding, and he was all the things that, somebody like me wants. He's funny, and he's kind of stumbles over himself a little bit and self-deprecating and all the things. So it's easy for me to listen to him. It was, it was very without judgment, and the whole church was great. That place is a great place. But so we did that for a little while, and then just stopped going at some point.
Is there a reason that you stopped going?
I don't recollect a reason specifically.
Okay. Emmy was going with you?
You know what? I think he left. I think
the pastor left.
I think he did leave. Yeah, and Emmy was going, and we're taking the kids, and the kids went. Both my kids went to preschool, or two of my kids went to preschool.
Okay.
Did three of them go? I don't remember if Ryan went.
To the preschool that the church put on. Okay.
Yeah, to a church, another church.
Okay.
So we had, I think that there's something to all that.
Sure.
That is useful to society and to the individuals.
Yeah.
And so it's compelling to me that it could be something that is true, or it couldn't be. I don't know.
Yeah, there's kind of studies that have shown that even if there is no God.
Yeah, faith.
The teachings of religion.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of thing are definitely helpful to society. That even if people believe, and they're good principles to help your fellow man and to be kind and to loving people and all this stuff. So even if there is no God, at least it's making you better people, right?
Yeah, and for my whole adult life, I believed that. I have an appreciation for Christianity and Christians.
Okay.
I didn't so much feel that same way as a child.
Right.
As a young person.
I didn't either.
Right. I mean, we were friends.
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear to me, like, I don't know, man, if I'm choosing a religion to have run my country, it's going to be Christianity.
Right.
It just is. The way I've seen it, Christianity's been a pleasant thing. And when I was a kid, I felt a little more judged by Christians, and I had different feelings. But as an adult, man, some of my best friends, some of the best people that I know, like some of the people that I look up to now, like my guy Doug at work, the way he handles himself, and he's not like I'm pretty ragey, I get a little silly, ragey sometimes. It's kind of embarrassing. Like I get way more upset than I should sometimes.
Yeah.
And I have these knee-jerk reactions and sort of emotional responses.
Right.
And he manages all that well, and I just see it as something that he's been empowered by God to do.
Sure.
So I appreciate it. And another coworker back in Phoenix, this guy Terry Munyon, maybe the best human I've ever met in my life.
Oh wow.
He's so great. He's great at his job. He excels in the workspace. He has kind of a technical job, and he's patient with people. You find a lot in my industry that people that are technical, super impatient. They're annoyed that you don't know things, and he always dealt with. I witnessed him deal with people, and in a way that again is enviable. I wish I had his level of patience,
right?
And I know his source is the same, and just countless others, like people I respect. Many of the people I respect the most, as
you see virtues,
as men in particular,
that you appreciate.
Yes,
okay,
yeah, absolutely. So, I thought it was silly for people to believe that, there's this all-knowing, omnipresent being that is making everything happen. And when I think about that, it sounds stupid,
right?
And every religion that I've heard sort of the overview of, it all sounds ridiculous, but none of them really sound any more ridiculous to me than the other. Like, I don't think the Christ story is any more ridiculous than, the golden tablets that were found by a 14-year-old that nobody else could read. But just trust me, I'm 14. I'm making up a story, right? Like none of the. Right. Then you get a planet with the other one, right? You lord over a planet
with nothing but women on there.
Yeah, nothing. That sounds like hell to me, but okay.
No, but they're not allowed to talk back.
Oh, okay.
See, it's just their whole purpose is to serve you for the rest of eternity.
If they're not talking back, what the hell are they doing? They might as well be trees. Man. Like none of these ideas and none of the stories sound any less ridiculous than the other to me.
Okay.
And then. So I was like, well, science is the Big Bang, and I just, you accept that as fact because, it's science, just like COVID.
Science is never wrong.
Yeah, never wrong.
Ever.
Sick vaccines. But it occurs to me, not, maybe within the last decade, I think it occurred to me that, well, that story's pretty silly too.
Yeah.
Like
the science story, the
Big Bang. Yeah. Like,
okay.
There's no, like, just, none of it makes sense to me. I'm too stupid to understand the Big Bang. It's all magic,
right?
Like all of it's magical and unbelievable, and so it's all the same. Like it's all as possible as the other in my head,
right?
And it's all as impossible as the other in my head.
Sure.
So I don't really have any strong.
I think that too. Like the Big Bang is something that I hold to.
No,
but I think it's guided. See, that's the difference.
Sure.
Like where the evolutionist would say, no, it's just random. There was no intelligence behind it. It just popped into existence one day. Big Bang, boom, planets, all this stuff, right? To where I'm like, no, I think that's just the way God started things. It's just boom. There it is. It's all, and then like the Bible says, 6 days of creation of the earth and the people and the the animals.
And then he took a break, though. Why?
On day 7, you mean?
Yeah. What's he was
done
off for?
He was all done, man.
He was resting, though, right?
Or
we're just supposed to rest.
The word rest is used, but it doesn't mean like he slept.
Okay.
Right? Because God doesn't need to sleep, right? Yeah. So
you don't see him needing a Barcalounger.
Yeah, he's like, hey, all right, I got it. Whoo! I am beat, man. 6 days of creating that really took it out of me. Let's take a little break here. Let's take a little siesta.
Yeah, I think the 7th day just wanted to hear evening.
Right. Maybe could be. He's like done. No, but I mean, so the idea of that I think is for people, because that instituted like resting on the Sabbath. The kind of the 7th day of rest, mainly for people because we need that. Not that God need that, but the word rest really just means ceased from his work, and so it means he was done. He created in 6 days. Maybe we needed a 7-day week. I don't know. I don't have these kind of answers. Those are the questions I have a hard time with. People. Like, well, why did God do it that way? I don't know. Yeah. I can tell you I think he did it that way, but why? Let me ask him. I don't know. Yeah. He doesn't tell us why.
So is the Bible literal stories for you, like both books?
Meaning Old and New Testament? Yeah. I think they're both. I think it depends. I think there's plenty of allegory in the Bible. Yeah. I think there's plenty of literal things in the Bible. Yeah. I think,
but not everything's literal.
No, because there's parables. Jesus told parables, which were fictional stories, designed to teach a moral lesson or something. Yeah. I don't think there really was virgins that lamps they didn't bring enough oil, or whatever. The whole point of that was don't waste time, right? Your time is short, kind of thing. So. But I also don't hold to what some other Christians hold to, that like the whole story of the garden and the snake and all that is allegory. It didn't really happen that way. No, I think it really happened that way. I do think that Satan came in the form of a snake. I don't think he is a snake. I think he came in the form of a snake to deceive Eve, and then she ate the fruit, which, like I said earlier, plunged us all into darkness. Yeah. Basically, because everything was perfect. There was no death, there was no disease, there was no pain, there was no suffering. All that came after, which is what God was trying to warn them about. So don't eat that tree. But then the philosophy guy in me goes, well, why was that tree even there then? Like, if you're God, and you know that tree is going to cause the whole world, all the problems in the world, just get rid of the tree. You're God.
Yeah.
But I think that the answer to that is that we need to have free will, right? And God wants us to love him and do what he asks because we want to, not because we have a gun to our head.
I've struggled with the concept of free will even.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because I don't know how much free will we actually have.
Okay. I
don't know how many of the things in our history we could change if we really had an opportunity. I think that maybe that, and I don't know if it's nature or nurture, how much of it is which, but I just feel like sometimes our history just makes the future happen. Like we're predisposed to make a decision in a certain way because of what our experiences are,
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think God knows everything, past, present, and future. So I think he knows whatever decision we're going to make.
Yeah.
But when I'm in that moment, but see, this is the way the argument goes. Like, I'm in that moment, okay, I can go to Taco Bell or I can go to Burger King.
Yeah.
But as we talked about earlier, we wouldn't go to Burger King.
Tony Payne.
Yeah.
See, Tony Payne. So either God put Tony Payne in my life for that exact reason and that decision, or that experience made me make that choice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
But see, I cannot fathom, and this is where I get off the bus with like the evolutionary theory and kind of anything that's not intelligent design, is my brain just can't even fathom the idea that everything we're talking about right now, that whole concept, that happened when we were there, it made you never want to go to Burger King ever again, that all of that's just unguided.
Right.
There's no intelligence behind that. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand I understand why people can say, well, I don't agree with this religion, or I don't agree with your Bible, or I don't believe in Jesus. Fine. I mean, I have the reasons that I believe those things too. But if someone tells me, I don't believe in anything intelligent at all, just everything just happened one day, it just, boom, here we are. That is the most ludicrous, I mean, in my opinion, that's the most ludicrous belief system you could ever have, because everything we see has some form of intelligence. Like even everything you look around that's in this house, in this room right now, you think there's nothing in here that you would rationally say, oh, it just appeared there. This laptop just happened. I mean, it just, some metal and some glass just slammed into some electronic wires and boom, motherboard was created and the mouse and everything and that's your laptop. You think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yet the evolutionist says that's the way all of humanity started, which is far more complex than that laptop.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just, that is what's acidine to me. But
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because it all starts at one thing again, right? Like we come out of the sea with a tail, and then we become everything that we become.
Right.
I'm not smart enough to really dig into that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It could be. Yeah. Again, it's not any more magical than to me, like an intelligent thing doing it.
Right.
There's both are possible.
Yeah, because even
a collective, right? Like a collective of cells becomes these other things, and it presents as intelligence.
Right.
Like my gut tells me to eat that ice cream.
Right, with that bacteria.
Not that intelligent, but but
that's an intelligent decision, I think. That's a good decision to make. No, but I mean, even with the evolutionary model, I go back to, I'm like, fine, okay, does that make sense to say this became this, and they dropped the tail, and then lost the scales, grew some feathers? Okay, that to me, that is not completely unreasonable. What's unreasonable is that however far you want to go back to whatever the first organism was that became all that stuff, is you telling me or somebody telling me that just happened. That amoeba, it just happened right there. That's what's hard for me to grasp, because I'm like, even if we're going to go with evolution, something intelligent must have started the evolutionary chain to begin with, right? It doesn't just happen like that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I can understand that. It definitely feels better to think something did it.
Sure.
And there's something guiding us and helping me make these decisions.
Right.
And I certainly am attracted to that concept for sure. I think that's great.
Okay. So would you say that would you say that you, how am I trying to word this? I sound like an idiot. Is that appealing to you, the idea of God, like especially specifically the God of Christianity, the God of the Bible? Like, if he was real, would that be good news to you, or would that be bad news? Like if it could be proved to you?
Well, I guess if I don't know. So I don't know where I stand right now. If God is real and your book is correct,
right?
Then I guess that would be a bummer because I'd go to hell, right? Like,
well, only if you died right after you found that out.
Well, yeah, okay.
Once you found that out, you'd have an opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to align myself with the truth now, you know. So
yeah, one of the things I have a problem with is like with religion is like all the offshoots of it,
right? And
the lack of access. You know, now it's pretty good. You know, you can find Jesus in every continent and every country in the world now.
Right.
But there was a time where there was countless humans, you know, existing that were never presented with the chance to read the Bible and be saved.
Right.
Yeah. So
and that's something I struggled with too back when I hated Christians.
Yeah.
Is that I would say, well, what about? I mean, you have that where you just said you have people, let's say, off in the bush country somewhere that have never seen a Westerner, they've never seen a Bible, they've never...
Or Japanese or Chinese
or
for
anywhere,
a period of time.
right?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Or I would even say, well, what if, like, a little Buddhist boy, his parents bring him up to be a Buddhist, and that's all he knows to be the truth, and then he dies, and he's in hell, and he never had a chance, right? But from what I'm seeing from what the Bible presents is that it's not so much about, like... It matters. I'm not trying to say it doesn't matter, but it's not as important about what you know mentally or what you've read or what you understand. It's more of a heart response, right? And in Romans in the Bible, chapter 1, it talks about how creation speaks for God, right? Like kind of what we're talking about. We look at creation and we can say, oh, evolution, random chance, or we can say, well, something created this, and that would make spur you on to say, well, okay, now that I believe something created this, who did? And then that'll kind of lead you down a path of that discovery. So, I mean, I don't believe that anybody has ever died ever that didn't have some kind of opportunity to receive that truth, whether it was by the Lord speaking to their heart in some way or even by missionaries or whatever. But like in the bush country, maybe it was just more of God trying to reach out to that person individually. Or maybe he already knows that no matter what he does, they're going to reject him anyway. So, because again, if he knows everything, he knows our hearts, you know. But I guess what I'm trying to say with all that is I don't think there's going to be anybody in hell who should be in heaven. Does that make sense?
By what measure?
Well, like somebody that, let's say, had they have lived an extra 2 weeks, they would have found the truth and got to heaven. But since they died 2 weeks before that, now they're in hell for all eternity because they didn't live long enough.
You're saying they had options, whether direct into their head
at some point before death. Yes, okay. and I even go as far to say I think that's true of like aborted babies, young children that die young. I think it's the same thing. I think that they at some point have some opportunity because it's not so much this, it's this. Right. So I mean, but there's plenty of Christians that disagree with me on that too. So
there's I don't know how many different sects of Christianity. I mean, and then you have all the other religions, right? Like there's a lot of and I know that there's a lot of overlap between even the other religions,
right?
And Muslims, right? They believe in Jesus and.
Yeah. You know. Well, they don't believe Jesus. They don't believe he's the same as we believe him to be. They believe he's a good teacher. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. And then you have things like Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses that also claim Christianity. Jesus-based. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so back to that question though, like what, like assuming you have the opportunity, right? Assuming that doesn't damn you to hell indefinitely, no matter what. Is that something that's appealing? Like when you hear the gospel story and you think, oh, Jesus is this and he loves us and he wants to give us eternal life. I mean, is that something that is appealing to you, or is it something like, I don't know about all that? It sounds kind of...
Yeah, I would say it's appealing as a concept. I love that. Yeah, I hope that all my Christian friends are going to some place like that. And if I believed it, I would follow it, and I would go and get involved in that. But so I think it's a great concept. It's nice. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. People get to go to some eternal place that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens up there, but
I don't either.
I've
never been there. I do know that it's not my own planet.
I hope it's not disappointing. That's all. Like I hope everyone doesn't get up there like, this is boring, man. It's like the Lakeview dance, man. Everybody's
with the wallflowers. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh man.
But
all right.
Yeah. So is it? How about how about other life form
like aliens,
alien, extraterrestrial, or
yeah,
interdimensional, or whatever?
Like, what are my thoughts on that?
Yeah, and then in relation to
Christianity.
Yeah. Like, are there other gods? This is the one God? Well,
no,
for us, for sure. But
if the Bible's true, again, hypothetically, I mean, I believe it is, but I use hypotheticals because
I understand.
If the Bible's true, then there's only one God of the entire universe.
Of the universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
No matter. Yeah. I know there's billions of planets out there that we don't even know about yet and all that.
Yeah.
But when you talk about is there other life on other planets, that's when you get a little like, I don't know. I don't really have the answer to that.
Right.
I mean,
someone might, but
someone might. And if God did create other, He knows about it, obviously. But I've never seen an alien.
Yeah.
And in fact, if I did see an alien, I don't know if I would believe it was an alien, or if I would more likely believe it was some kind of spiritual thing, like a demon or an angel or something, maybe. Or some weird creature that just exists on Earth that we've never seen before, like Bigfoot or whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't. I feel like I can't solidly take a stance on that because I just don't have the information.
There is none.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, some say there is.
Well, there might be. I mean,
some say they've had experiences.
It's certainly more compelling than ever.
Right.
With some of the files released by the government.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not releasing everything, and those sorts of things make you certainly wonder.
Yeah. Have you heard the conspiracy theories on that?
Oh, no.
That they think that that's going to be the next thing that's going to happen before the 2024 election.
So they're kind of
okay. Well, they're kind of like gearing up, like because you had COVID, 2020, right?
Well,
during that election,
certainly lose him.
So
the
now
election,
it's going to be like, oh, there's an alien invasion.
I don't want him talking to the aliens. Either of them, though, really, right?
Right.
I don't want the 5-year-old Trump talking to the aliens either.
That'll be like Mars Attacks.
Yeah, maybe bring Obama back to the talking. He may already be there. I don't know. So maybe it's fine for Biden because old silver tongue there.
Yeah,
he can talk to the aliens.
Right. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny.
I hadn't heard that. That theory. That's funny.
See, that almost sounds too far fetched to me. I'm not a. I mean, if you listen to any of these, I'm not a conspiracy guy. Do I think the government's telling us the truth all the time? Absolutely not. Obviously,
conspiracies are a little dangerous, man.
They are.
You got to be careful going down those rabbit holes.
Right.
I mean, the flat Earth thing. This is another thing where I'm just not that smart, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really not.
You keep saying that.
I recognize this.
I disagree with you.
I think it's important for all of us to recognize what we are, and I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
I think I'm perfectly intelligent, and I can get through conversations, and I can tie my shoes, and I can go to work, and I can do a lot of things. But when it gets really into it, again, I can't read these scientific papers.
Right.
So I'm listening to what Jordan Peterson says, or Brett Weinstein, or somebody smart that's breaking it down for me that I trust to some degree. Right. I mean, and I think that's what 99 or 90+% of the population are doing. Right. They're getting their information from somewhere that they trust.
Sure.
And it's very difficult to go to the source and get that information.
Yeah.
But even then, like when we're talking about the vaccines, you're actually being fed information that now people are going to peer review, that the corporation that is going to profit off of this has said, okay, this is what we want to give them, and then you peer review what they have hand fed you now, and they come out with these understandings which are probably wrong.
Right.
Because
or they
information's bad.
They changed 2 years from then,
I mean, you just fed this information, so you're just reviewing information that you're given, so it's not, anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not that smart, so I feel like I can't argue with a flat earther, right? Like, I'm not even smart enough to argue with somebody that believes in a flat earth. Right. I don't know how to describe to you gravity and curvature of the earth and show it to you and disprove you. If you've been into these YouTube rabbit holes and you get in there, it's pretty compelling.
But you have to prove that the pictures from like the telescopes and stuff are that's a conspiracy theory. Like those aren't real.
Right.
They're doctored.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so it's really difficult to be smart enough though to confront everybody on every level on a thing, and convince anybody otherwise in any kind of meaningful way.
You got to get on one of Elon's rockets.
Yeah,
head out there yourself.
Go see it.
Get your own picture of
see
the
that.
Earth.
Yeah,
like,
it ends. That's
a globe.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, is this is it LED screen on this window? There's just no proving it, you know. But
that's true.
So,
but there's a lot of things there's no proving. That's what people tell me. Okay, Ryan, prove to me there's a God.
Or disprove it.
Or disprove it. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. That's why I live my life in percentages. I live my life in probability. Right? Can I prove to you that gravity exists? No, I can't.
Exactly.
And somebody says, "Oh, sure you can. Watch." Yeah. And they drop.
Now explain it to me.
Yeah. Well, not only explain it, but how do you prove to me that the next time you drop that, it's not going to go up?
Without dropping it.
You don't know, right? You just don't know. But the probability is, most likely, you drop that ball, it's going to go down. Why? Yeah. Because the billions of times we've done it, it happens. And the fact that people are all stuck to the earth.
Yeah.
It makes sense, right? But can I prove it 100%? Nope.
Yeah. No, I get it, man.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. And I am glad to be in a Christian-dominated country, if I didn't mention that, rather than a Muslim one.
Right.
Yeah. That's good news. hope we can keep that going, man. I really dig Christians.
That's cool, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How about something like morality? I kind of lump the morality in with like absolute truth, meaning something that exists regardless of what somebody believes about it, right? It just is true. It is what it is. This is a pen. You can believe that it's a piano. Doesn't make it a piano. It's still a pen, right? That would just make your belief about it incorrect, right? So then when we talk about something like morality, like most people would say murder is morally wrong. Most cultures, most societies, not all. Some cultures, like maybe out in the sticks somewhere, they're like, no, it's not. That's okay. We don't like that guy, we kill him. That's just what we do. You know? Yeah. We're hungry, we kill that guy and we eat him. Yeah. You know? But there's certain ones like that. Most people will just let's leave it in America. Let's say most Americans would say, no, murder's wrong. Right. Not self-defense, not, things like that are different, but murder is wrong. Murder. Yeah, exactly. Like premeditated, I don't like that guy's face, I'm going to blow it off, you know? So kind of like, how do you view that? Like not murder, but I mean just morality. Is there like an absolute morality that exists, or do you think it's a social construct that's designed by people?
I think it's a social construct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we do things because tribally speaking, from however long ago that was, we would, be banished from the tribe if we behaved in these wrong ways or right ways.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's why you see some people okay with murder in some tribes, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But so would you look at that tribe and say that that's wrong?
Oh, I would, yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my upbringing taught me a little differently, you know?
Right.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff that happens all over the world. I'm talking about the Muslims, you know, the way they take little boys and they, they have like their little guys that they take around with them and use for their various purposes, including sexual.
Really?
Yeah, if you talk to these veterans that were over there, it's a pretty well-known thing. Like they have their little boys.
Really?
Yeah. And somehow they justify it. And
that's pretty weird in a culture that is so like
it's justified
with women and like the whole deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's all kinds of they excuse everything is because at the end of the day it's by the will of Allah. So if He wills them to do something that is normally not okay, in order to whatever serve I don't know all the details. I just know that's a thing. So yeah, there's weird stuff that I don't agree with, and and I'm not ready to go to war over it, but if it was nearby me,
or if it came to your house, and they came and said, "Oh, to our culture, it's okay for us to kill your kids,
a neighbor's kid or somebody else," and I'm going to take care of that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know that I'm going to fly across the world to do it and take my military over there.
Right.
But if I might be in support of it, I don't actually know. I probably would. Yeah, I probably would be. But the thing is this is off the religious topic.
That's fine.
But the thing with, it's similar to the border thing, like if we're going to go across the world and go take care of a problem, then we should take care of the problem. And we should go over there with all our might and just delete the problem. You know, if that's what we're doing, we're going over there for the reasons you're telling us to go over there.
Right.
Then we should do everything in our power to ensure that outcome.
Sure.
With all of our force and all of our might. And
because so over here, where obviously our morality teaches us that premeditated murder is wrong, teaches us that abusing little children sexually is wrong, right? That would make most people sick in this country. Say, oh, but what if in some other country, their moral code said, no, this is what we do with little kids. Yeah. And then we were seeing videos of this, let's say, that they were showing us from over there. Yeah. I think it'd be hard for most of us just to be like, yeah, but I mean, that's just their culture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like it's our culture.
What do you mean?
Frankly.
With
Epstein and...
Well, I wouldn't call it our culture. Yeah. I would say there are certain people in our society that are doing that, yes.
Well, we're not taking care of it here.
Right.
So...
He got taken care of.
Yeah, the culprit, the pimp got taken out, but not a single one of his customers.
Right. They're not even releasing all the names.
None of the names. They're releasing the court names, but not the list. Yeah. I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell has a list. She obviously knows who was and who wasn't involved in this pedophilia ring.
What kind of that's something I just can't grasp. Like you hear a story of like somebody who kills another person, let's say because some guy, his wife cheated with some other guy. Yeah. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I can at least understand the rage there. Like, how dare you be with me or whatever, or somebody molest your kid and you want to kill him or whatever. Fine. Yeah. How can anybody do that to a kid?
I don't know.
Like to me that is a whole new form of evil.
Yeah.
Like that I can't even my brain can't even comprehend it.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, there's no way.
Yeah, over and over again. So these people are doing it, on Epstein Island and God knows where else, and what other rings there are out there.
Right, that's just the one that got caught front and center. How many other islands are out there?
And we're not even doing anything about that here.
Right.
We clearly know that these are powerful people that have done it, and so I just can't justify us flying over here to the other side of the world to do it. This is my problem with a lot of our problems. I hear people talk about like 9/11 as an inside job, and all these, or maybe at worst case it seems like it was a gross failure of our institutions that are supposed to keep us safe from that sort of thing. But if I'm gonna believe those things, if I'm gonna believe these crazy conspiracies, or how do we, as an individual or as a group of us, as an American, how do we allow those things to happen and just keep talking about trannies? These little girls these little girls and boys, right? They're being raped over and over and over again, by the people that are wanting us to go to war over here. Most likely, at least a certain percentage of them. Of these people in Hollywood that are telling us, we need your money for Ukraine to take care of this evil China. Right. Like China's evil, Ukraine is good. Right. Like the Jews are bad now and the Palestinians are good. And there's truth to both those things, of course. But those are the people that are raping children. A lot of them. Right. And
so how can you trust that
ever?
Right.
And how do I not take action? How do we, as a people, not go drag them out of their offices? Go get Ghislaine Maxwell out of that prison. Right. They can't stop us. If the people decide we want Maxwell and we want the information that she has, we would have it. Right. We're unstoppable. Yeah. And we are them. The people that are guarding that place, many of them would cooperate. Right.
They'd let you in there. Yeah.
Yes. Get in here. Get her. Yeah, let's get her. We'll bring her to you. You stay here. Don't storm this. We'll bring her out. Right. Like don't tear us up. And so, we're the reason we're not doing that is because we're being so misguided into other places. Where our attention is over here on who's eviler, Ukraine or Russia, and who's more evil over here, Palestine or the Jews. And the truth is, neither one is evil. The evil exists on either side, and they're all people in positions of power that are causing all these deaths. Right. And it's all a distraction. We're always distracted by big things like that, but also little things like like what your media you're taking in that day, what your social media is, what's happening on that, who's eating what on Instagram, and these things. And I'm not knocking any of that, because we have to have some entertainment in our life, but we're so overstimulated with that stuff that we're just letting it pass. Like the more time that passes, that Epstein was killed in his prison cell, and was suicided in his prison cell.
That's a hot take.
Like so obvious. The thing, I mean, and nobody's demanding, nobody's protesting. You want to protest about these Palestinians and block the roads? Right. You idiots.
Yeah.
There's more important. There are kids. There are children.
Yeah, but they don't know that, right? That's the whole thing. They're being brainwashed into believing all this stuff. Yeah. That's why they have all these young kids that are just, I know. And they get them going.
It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
They're part of a team.
Righteous and on the right side and all that. But why not be on the right side of those children?
Right.
I feel like we know that. Nobody's protesting that. Right. Nobody's out there. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody. There's probably some people. Sure. But it's not 100,000 people.
Right.
It's,
well, is it all over the media?
I mean, it's not. It's out there, right?
Yeah, but you got to look for it.
Do you?
Is it? Are they showing it?
I don't know. I don't watch the news now, so I don't know what's happening on like your regular news. But I feel like there's a huge amount of people that know about the whole Epstein thing.
Oh, I'm sure there is. But what I'm saying is, like, what's the media deciding to put forefront?
Right. I know.
To be showing you all the time.
Exactly. They know our triggers and they know how to control
and they want to get these groups or whatever of young adults, to go at certain topics. Yeah. And they're playing them. And they don't realize it. Yeah. That's the sad thing, because they're hitting them when they're at the age before the brains develop fully. Yeah. They're easily persuadable for all the wrong reasons, So, anyway.
And all you got to do is get a few women to make it appealing, and a bunch of young men follow.
Right. That's it, right? Isn't that sad? Yeah. That's how easy we are.
We are. Yeah, man.
Oh my gosh. It's terrible.
I probably would have protested something for a young lady at one time.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how, as a society, we're not just completely obsessed with that.
Right.
And how we ever get beyond it. Like how we ever let anything even operate again.
Right.
Like all these truck drivers going to the border and all these. This is really cool.
It is.
The tanks.
Yeah.
Take them to that prison.
Yeah.
Get that woman out. Let's find who it is and let's hunt them all down.
Right.
And murder them.
Yeah.
How's that?
There you go. That's more for your presidential run there.
Morally murder them.
Yeah. Well, that would be self-defense in a sense, right?
But it's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But it's the same thing, like shooting at the border, which I think is ultimately an empathetic way to do it. Mm-hmm. You take out those people that are in power, mm-hmm. that are molesting our children, that are raping young children. Kill a few of them. Kill some of them.
As an example.
That's why we have the guns. This is it. We're being attacked.
Right.
They're going after our kids, our neighbors' kids, and that should mean something.
Yes.
It's not my kids, but it's someone's kids.
Yes.
And we're all Americans.
That's where you put yourself in their shoes, and you're like, okay, no, it's not my own personal kids, but it could be.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something I think that we've lost a lot of, and we're very divided tribally. Right. And we have these sort of angry mobs, but no community.
Which is also the media's fault, I think.
Yeah.
The media's playing on that too.
Yeah.
They're purposely trying to segregate us into the groups they want us in, and they're pitting us against each other.
Yeah, it's a manipulation.
It's terrible.
Sure. It is. And we're all too willing to, and myself included, I get hyped up over the trannies in the bathroom, or whatever the thing is, and there's this other thing that I should always think about. It should be first on the list.
Right.
Not Joe Biden's weird mumblings,
Although that is funny.
It is funny. It's the entertainment angle, right? So you got to have a little entertainment in there for sure. Yeah.
All right, man. Before I let you go, I want to go back real quick to the thing you said when we first started talking about God, and you had said that you don't believe that there is a God.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what is making you feel that way specifically.
I couldn't say.
Okay.
I guess it's a lack of feeling that there is a God.
Okay.
It's not really that. I'm not certain. I have.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. You're not saying there is no God, 100% guaranteed. Yeah.
There might be.
Okay.
I just don't get that's not my feel that's a real thing. That there is a single, intelligent being that did it all.
Okay. So what would have to happen in your own life for you to believe that was true? Would you have to have like a visitation from an angel or something?
Well, I would certainly. Well, I don't know about that. It'd have to be.
You might be hallucinating.
All these mushrooms are coming back right now at once. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And that's something too on that side of things though. Like, if you've heard, this is some stuff I've heard on like Rogan, where he talks about doing the mushrooms and.
Sure.
And I've done mushrooms, and it does feel like you enter a new dimension. Mm-hmm. And then you have your pineal gland that they think now in these near-death experiences, potentially, there's a release of DMT into your brain.
Really?
That is created, and I don't know, this could be bro science, Rogan's had it on there before, but I like the idea. And and so your brain drops DMT into your system, or your pineal gland, the third eye, right? The third eye that's in like the hieroglyphics, and it's kind of and it looks like an eye too. If you look at the organ itself,
interesting.
You cut it looks like an eye in your forehead. That's there, and it doesn't do anything that we're aware of. But it does create DMT evidently, and so you trip when you're in that, like in the death throes. Your brain's like, okay, need some peace.
Interesting.
And so that opens you up into the heavens, if you will, or like you're into communication with the heavens, and so the hallucinogenics are like opening a window into the heavens potentially, like there's another realm. And you find that people they give people mushrooms when they're terminal.
Really?
Yes, this is a common thing. They'll give people that are terminal and struggling with the concept and fear of dying.
Okay, just to kind of put their mind at ease a little bit.
And it gives them a belief, so that because it opens that other dimension up, at least a view into it. Maybe you're crossing over. Maybe it's a gate. Yeah. Maybe it's just a window. But these people are come out of that trip, or maybe it's a couple trips. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they come away with it like at peace. Like, okay, there's another place.
Right.
There's another place than this. And,
well, I know people that don't even do the mushrooms at the end. They're still seeing that. Like, people with dementia towards the end, they're like, I've known people that are talking about they're seeing
just feel it.
Well, they're even seeing like little people. They're like in their own world, this magical land where there's little creatures and stuff,
Yeah. And it could be this activated, with the DMT, or it could be,
and that could be the mercy of God to even. That's why it's there.
It could be there for that reason. Yeah. This is a thing that can be believed in concert with the religion, I think, and I find it fascinating because I felt that, the mushrooms, when right away I go into, I get into the mushrooms, and I haven't in years, but when I did, it was like, oh, this is a whole new reality. Like, what was I thinking? I didn't even know all this was here, and this wonder that we were talking about at the beginning was present, and I mean, that for me, that and like hiking has been the closest spiritual to a spiritual like a feeling that I've
and that's interesting because I have a friend who doesn't do any drugs. I mean, he has way back when, and he's older now. He's like 70.
Yeah.
But back in the day he did. But he says that you can basically access that same realm, that same trip, whatever you want to call it, that you would get from doing those kind of drugs, mushrooms or whatever, just by getting into a deep enough meditation.
Yeah.
Like you can be completely substance free and just still get into that place.
Yeah, I've heard that, and it's harder, and it's a shorter length of time.
Okay.
I think generally.
Right.
But I have heard that also breath work. Like there's certain types of holotropic or something, hollow something.
I don't know.
Breath work that people do that can put you in that.
Well, if you hold your breath long enough, you'll start seeing stuff eventually.
That's what a lot of eyes are. Yeah.
Might be a little bit of a brain dead there. But I mean, like, what if, like, let's say you and Emmy were together somewhere, and you had some kind of a angelic appearance, or let's say Jesus appeared in front of you.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really pass it off as like, I'm hallucinating, unless you're both hallucinating.
Yeah.
Right. This is the same thing I do with alien stories.
Right.
Someone says, I was abducted by myself.
Yeah.
I was dropped off in a field somewhere by myself, or I saw an alien by myself. I'm like, you could have been hallucinating. You could have had some mental breakdown or something. Who knows? But if like a whole town of people sees a flying saucer supposedly flying across a certain part of town,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I believe the mass hallucination theory there. That's a little far-fetched to me, because even then I'm like, that's intelligence.
Yeah.
So if there was a mass hallucination, that means somebody was doing that to all those people at the same time.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because what are the odds of them all spontaneously having the same hallucination at the exact same time?
Right.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mass hallucination seems
Yes, exactly.
nonsense. Yeah.
So let's say it's you and Emmy and your 3 kids.
Yeah.
And you all see the same thing. What would you do at that point?
I imagine, I don't know what it is that's happening. What's he saying?
I don't know. Let's say Jesus comes down, and let's say he looks like Jesus as you would think he would look, right?
Yeah, he comes like a one of them.
Yeah, and he's standing in front of you, and he's like, Jimmy, I'm real. Here I am.
Oh, man,
Christianity's true. You need to receive me right now, would you?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
I love it.
I didn't believe. I apologize.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on in here, big guy.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the love for sure.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a good answer, man. I like that answer. Well, I'll be praying for that to happen to you then, because
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, that's
that was
it.
fun. Thank you,
thanks, man. That's a blast.
Yeah.
A lot of fun catching up with you.
Thank you so much for checking out this week's episode. I would greatly appreciate your feedback. You can reach me at Why Can't We Talk About That at proton.me. Now here's a clip from next week's episode.
Pre-2020, I'm like, just tell me who to vote, baby, and I'm up, whatever it is. But 2020 really opened my eyes.
Yeah.
Like literally, I was on there and listening to all these comments that were being said, like, oh, if you're a conservative Christian, Republican, then you're a terrorist. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I love God. I have a job. I work nonstop. I come home to my family.
Yeah.
I live to a moral standard that, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your God with all your heart, strength, soul, and mind.
Yeah.
But I'm a terrorist?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because you believe differently.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and that started opening my eyes, started seeing the evidence of, just everybody around me, Trump is racist. And it's like, wait a minute, what? How? Even in the Hispanic culture, it's interesting because Telemundo and all these radio stations portray certain candidates, certain narratives, and I'm like, why? Why is it that they say this? And it's like challenging people on their views, like, okay, what is it that he said that was racist, or how do you know? And it's like, oh, because the TV said so. And it's like, no, you know. So it opened my eyes. 2020 opened my eyes to certain things that are happening in government.